But we begin with the nation's capital, governed under home rule by an elected mayor and city council, now under the federalized and militarized thumb of the Trump White House. The president declared a crime emergency today and took over the police department. Some 800 National Guard forces will join an array of federal agencies, the FBI, the DEA, Homeland Security, Park Police, Secret Service, among others, in beefed up crime suppression efforts. This, despite statistics showing violent crime in the District of Columbia down from dangerous COVID and post-COVID highs that crested in 2023. It is unclear what these federal officers will do or how long their assignments, individually or collectively, will last. Current law limits the president's emergency police powers to 48 hours. Then, if Congress is notified, a 30-day extension can occur. For whatever duration, this aggressive move will expose residents of this city, myself included, to, as the Washington Post put it this afternoon, unpredictable encounters with a domestically deployed military force, a laboratory for a militarized approach to urban crime fighting. Here with me now, Scott McFarland. Scott, what do we know?
A laboratory for militarized law enforcement is the way it's been characterized by a number of people who are familiar with what's going on here. The president only has the power to do this in Washington, D.C. It's not a state, so he has control of the National Guard. He has unique capacity.
As its status as a federal district.
That's right. So he can call them up unilaterally. He's the only one who can call up the D.C. National Guard, and he has unique capacity to federalize the community police department, the local police, the 4,000-member Metropolitan Police Department. How this plays out over what's likely to be the 30-day window, according to multiple sources, could inform how he uses the National Guard elsewhere. But you saw what he can do elsewhere in Los Angeles.
Right.
He had the capacity to use them to protect federal buildings, courthouses, government offices. They couldn't be part of that law enforcement mission that he has ascribed to the D.C. National Guard, beginning as soon as their preparations and deployments begin, which could be later this week.
It's been my experience, Scott, and you're much more experienced in this realm than I am, that federal law enforcement officers have specialized training and specialized skill sets that are sometimes helpful to, knowledgeable of, but not exactly on a day-to-day basis consistent with or cooperative with beat cops in an urban environment. How is this going to work? Is there going to be friction or overlap or supervising, or what is it?
They're specialists in Washington, D.C. with working with different police departments. Washington, D.C. has 40-plus different police departments on total, from the library police to the U.S. Capitol Police to the Secret Service to the U.S. Park Police, which exists in only 3 cities in America. So working cohesively with different police departments, that's in the wheelhouse of anybody in law enforcement here. But when you have federal agents deployed to help patrol for street crime, some of them may have a law enforcement background that's perfect for that. Some came up from local police. They know exactly how to do that, and they certainly know the communities. They work there as federal agents, too. But we have Homeland Security experts saying, what are they missing back at their day job? FBI agents in Washington, D.C. have large portfolios that involve preventing terror attacks, child pornography, gun running. This gives them less breadth and time for those missions.
And there is a situation in the district that has alarmed residents dealing either with curfew breakers or carjacking. Is there any sense that there will be emphasis on those two areas which do raise serious and legitimate concerns from residents in this city about their safety?
Those are particularly pernicious types of crimes. Youth crimes, crimes involving those under the age of 18, require a whole portfolio of services, including human services, things that police can't get at alone, singularly.
Federal or local.
Hard to see how more law enforcement gets into the root of that problem.
But you said 30 days. That's the word we're getting from sources, that the White House is going to follow the law and limit this to 30 days.
If they want it more than 30 days, they need some form of congressional approval. That seems to be a tall task, if possible at all.
Oh, hello, everyone. Sorry about that, a little awkward pause there. Should maybe work on making my streaming skills a little smoother. How's it going, everybody? Good to see you guys, those of you who are here so far. Looks like I'm having a bit of unstable connection. Let me know if you guys can hear and see me all right. hopefully it will clear up shortly. How's it going, Jimmy? Kill your egregores. Jacqueline, Yonina, and Extrabulla, Rondo. Good to see you all. Thanks for joining me. As you can see, once again, we have Abby will be joining us later on. She has a doctor's appointment for her mother that's unfortunately overlapped a little bit with our stream here, but that's no big deal. I can handle this stream for the time being until she gets here. So as far as commenting on that video that I just played, I think it's somewhat telling the way that he wrapped up that little segment at the end, how he kind of was mentioning crimes of youth under 18 and how they're supposed to be trying to solve this sort of thing. Because I'm trying to kind of look into what is the actual impetus for this action of Trump, or what is exactly the cause of this effect. And because like they said in the video, it doesn't exactly make a whole lot of sense that they're claiming that they need to be creating a authoritarian crackdown, establishing emergency powers over a crime wave that's non-existent, considering that crime statistics are saying that crime is down, specifically in Washington, D.C., but basically all over the country. So how do you justify this kind of fascism? Well, you don't, obviously, but that's kind of besides the point, right? But what I did find was an article about some, let me try and see where, look through my tabs, of course, which I always have far too many. There was a congressional intern that was recently murdered last month, and it seems like they've used this person's death to kind of make a political maneuver. So shocking behavior from the Trump administration, I know. Let me see if you guys can see this. Here we go. Here we go. Murdered congressional intern's mom says Trump should take over Washington, D.C. Meanwhile, stats show crime in the nation's capital has dramatically dropped. So kind of interesting how, you know, most moms around the country would say, Trump, I need you to do this. Trump, I need you to do that. But for this particular mom, he's actually following her orders. Yeah, right. I highly doubt that, right? So they're just going to use the grieving mother card, you know, the stereotype, to dismiss civil rights, people with civil rights concerns and whatnot. So just yet another unfortunate sign of kind of fascistic leanings or tendencies of the Trump administration here. And we'll have more endless debates on, oh, is he really a fascist or not? Whatever. How dare you make such spurious accusations while he's in the middle of changing everything about the law as much as possible. The other thing I wanted to, as far as critiquing that video, I think the motive behind all this is has to do with trying to pass a crime bill, trying to get Congress to pass a certain kind of crime bill. And so that's sort of maybe the story behind the story. And I'm not, like the guy mentioned in the video, I'm not sure how they're going to accomplish this. Sorry, words are failing me for the moment. I don't know how they're going to manage this, get this bill pushed through the Congress without the bipartisanship that we've all in independent media have tirelessly elucidated how much the duopoly is very much working hand in hand. It's a fake opposition, and because what the crime bill that the Republicans Trump is claiming would probably unanimously pass that bill, but what he would require would be at least 7 Democrats to side with his plans. So funny how much force to vote keeps coming up, isn't it? Ironic. So let me read a little bit of this. Let me see first off, what are your comments here? Rondo's got a bunch to say. this is only happening because one of them self-important Doge douche incels got caught slipping. Being mesmerized by Purple Mountain's majesty is a stupid way to be in DC. Interesting. What's actually funny about this is that Trump doing a federal takeover of DC, the federal district of Columbia, is putting a hat on a hat. That's a funny way to put that. Jacqueline says, I do hope people are not going to quibble over the fact that Trump is a fascist or not. They completely lose sight of the fact that he's a wrong un. I'm not sure what you mean by that he's a wrong un. But yeah, whether he's fascist or not, everything that he's doing is unacceptable, illogical, disastrous. So how's it going, Steve Wolfbrandt? Good to see you. So I'm not sure how long it'll take for Abby to get here, but we'll just kind of do what I usually do, and I'll just read some stuff because usually if I try and show videos, it doesn't really work out. So this article is from Bill Hutchinson, August 7th, 2025. Not that I have any faith in mainstream journalists or news reporters, whatever you want to call them. As President Trump continues to rail against crime in the nation's capital, saying violence is out of control and that Washington, D.C. should be federalized, the mother of a congressional intern gunned down in June told ABC News on Thursday that she agrees with the president. Before I get into this, I wanted to briefly just switch my banners around here at the bottom, because I'm trying to get in the habit of when I started the segment, I put on the title of the segment on the banner there. So pardon me. Where was I? So since beginning his second term in the Oval Office, Trump has slammed local leaders, claiming they have not done enough to crack down on violent crime in the district. The president ramped up his criticism after a 19-year-old former employee of the Department of Government Efficiency was left beaten and bloodied early Sunday during an attempted carjacking in northwest Washington, D.C. Trump said in a social media post that the incident showed that crime in Washington, D.C. is totally out of control. The president also suggested that minors involved in such crimes should be prosecuted as adults starting at 14. And that kind of, I guess, tips it's a little bit of a hint at the last topic I was going to talk about today, which is Trump and the age of consent, because there's been a little bit of some, what seems to me, based on my preliminary investigations, there seems to be some false kind of claims about what Trump has said about the age of consent. And of course, it seems this is a recurring theme where Trump's making claims about what he can do with his executive authority, and then the fact checkers have all the freedom in the world to say, actually, he can't do that. You're wrong to get confused and freaking out with panic that he's going to do any of this, because according to the law, he can't do any of that. So we're going to have to try and look into what is, like, do some fact checking, see what is actually true about what he said, what he's doing, what other people are saying, and trying to do in response. So regardless, though, he's definitely playing around with the age of consent in ways that are, like, he's trying to make it out about crime, like minors should be prosecuted as adults starting at 14, but don't be surprised if whatever in the fine print of the laws that they implement, that what they may give themselves the freedom to prosecute minors that previously they were unable to, while at the same time forgiving adults that have been harming minors through the same kind of mechanism, ironically, or whatever, counterintuitively. So, yeah. Trump don't give a shit about the law. Yeah, this is Trump's bigotry in action. Yeah. I'm not exactly wanting to talk about Trump a whole lot because I feel like everyone does it too much. It's to me, it's like a psychological operation in and of itself to have everyone only ever talk about Trump every goddamn day. But since I don't actually, I've made an effort not to do that. That doesn't mean that we're not allowed to talk about him if we have something relevant to say. Reason why Trump is the topic of the day today is more because that's what Abby wanted to talk about. So I said, yeah, sure, let's do it. Unfortunately, she didn't realize until we've already kind of picked the topic that she's not going to be able to be here until later, but that's fine. Doesn't mean that we can't talk about it, obviously. So, how's it going, Lance Ripa? Good to see you. The orange man will make everything great again. Yeah, and the sky will be orange too, and it will be great. So, Trump is dealing with the fact that arrogant New Yorker, being an arrogant New Yorker, he thinks that people are going to go for because he's from New York. Yeah, there's probably a lot of that kind of stuff. I don't like to be a Trump whisperer. Imagining I understand him so well that that I know why he's doing this and that. But I get to maybe be less involved with having to follow the Trump news and stuff. Being a Canadian, I don't really feel like it's my like I have as much of an obligation to keep up with it. Although, he is definitely doing his best to do as much damage as possible everywhere around the world. So, fortunately for us, he's not as powerful as he thinks he is, I dare say. So hopefully I am correct about that. Anyway, back to this article here. If DC doesn't get its act together and quickly, we will have no choice but to take federal control of the city and run the city how it should be run and put criminals on notice. They're not going to get away with it anymore. Yeah, all just a whole bunch of hot air. Like there was no, I mean, depending on what you interpret as out of control, DC was not overrun with crime unless you understand how the criminal government is what makes DC and the entire country out of control, right? But I'm sure you guys all kind of understand that. Then again, for anyone watching who's new to all this kind of politics stuff, probably don't know all this stuff. So if you don't actually know very much about politics, you need to kind of look into how DC and London, England, and the Vatican in Rome have this kind of these three cities have a dominant influence on like the global economy and whatnot. So it's interesting to see Trump feeling the need to target DC for some reason that suggests there's some kind of cracks in that in the rule of those three cities over the global economy, and that would have to do with the deteriorating American hegemony, I would imagine. So two 15-year-old suspects were arrested in Sunday's assault of the former Doge employee, identified in a police incident report as 19-year-old Edward Coercion, but investigators said up to 8 other perpetrators remain at large. The carjacking assault came after 2 other high-profile violent attacks in Washington, D.C. over the past 3 months. So crime may be down, but it seems like what's really got a bee in their bonnets is that they're high-profile violent attacks. So when the poor people kill each other, they don't really give a shit. But when the poor come for some of these, if it's even the poor, okay, it's take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. These are allegations, unproven kind of thing, because they have yet to catch any suspect. And I wouldn't trust them, whatever investigation they do on whoever they haul in off the streets as that being the actual guilty perpetrator. But if it is actually poor people targeting rich people, and that would be the ruling class recognizing, like, statistics be damned, they seem to be changing the nature of who they're targeting, and it's that would make it, if they recognize that there's a class character to the actions of so-called criminals, then they may feel much more alarmed about something that the general public doesn't necessarily see as a threat, because it's only a threat to the ruling class, which is, anyway, to the benefit of the rest of us. Whatever's a threat to them is a boon to us. But these are the kinds of words we want to be careful with when we speak publicly, because these criminal, corrupt, fascist regimes in charge of our governments, including here in Canada, they will attack people like me just for saying the truth out loud. We're not allowed to think for ourselves or speak for ourselves, you know, but they're allowed to be as threatening as they want. Isn't that how it's supposed to work? Of course not. So I'm kind of getting a little bit digressing here, so I'm gonna try and see what you guys are saying and then get back to the article here. So yeah, this is what Sean was saying. This is also not just this guy that I'm reading about, but this all stems from that big balls kid mouthing off with racial remarks to a group of kids. So they stomped his ass out. Exactly. And now, lo and behold, whatever, Trump himself is going to the defense of big balls because he's got such big balls or whatever, right? So, but that doesn't, I would not, as far as people being afraid of the reprisal from the state, that I would not say that that stomping out the big balls guy would be the wrong thing to do necessarily, theoretically, in Minecraft, so to speak. So and Jacqueline was saying, is this a case of the orange blob being paranoid for his safety over all this Epstein stuff? That would be, I think, the possible motives for trying to alter the age of consent and whatnot. Although I don't know if you can claim retroactively that because he changed the law after he allegedly committed those crimes, that now those crimes weren't crimes. I don't know how that works, but he's definitely trying to see what he can do to cover his ass. So Lance is saying, did you ever see the campaign ad he did asking Christians for support where he says, I'm not a Christian? I don't recall seeing the ad itself, but I thought I maybe saw a clip of him saying that, and while people were mocking Christians for being stupid. Christians are stupid enough to, some of them anyway, to still support someone who's not even a Christian, who's not acting Christian in any way. He's willingly telling you to their face, that's like, I don't really care about your beliefs. I just want your vote. And they're like, okay, here's my vote. So if you are a Christian, I strongly encourage you to open your mind and look into history and maybe change your beliefs. Just a thought. So yeah, see, this is Rondo saying, I mean, you're not going to see these federal law enforcement agencies blessing in the federal triangle where actual high crimes, misdemeanors are occurring. That's what I'm saying. DC is such a fucking cesspool of criminal activity, and it's all being done by people like Trump and the police officers they're trying to alter the authority of here. So it would be nice for them to actually give a shit about white collar crime and, you know, systemic corruption, because that's how a country actually falls apart. But it seems to be what they kind of are wanting, isn't it? So yeah, and Jacqueline, as someone from the UK, I never even knew that the District of Columbia was its own federal region and isn't a part of any U.S. state by law. These are the kinds of things that, same thing like when I was learning about all this, getting into politics a few years ago, these are extremely shocking revelations to come across. It's like all of their foundation of what they consider legal is very much imaginary. They're just like, oh, we give ourselves the ability to invent this jurisdiction that has all these like special privileges, and they just like declare it so that they can do all kinds of things that are otherwise impossible to do in reality. You know, it's basically, I feel like, kind of schizophrenic is maybe a wrong word to use, but it's you get what I'm saying when I say that, where like they just invent stuff and say that it's rational just because they assert that it is. Like, remember I'm saying, it was talking like last episode, a couple episodes ago, about this concept that I've created called a tautological autarky, which is basically the Ouroboros, an argument whatever, symbolized by an Ouroboros, whatever, where they rely on a tautological autarky in and of itself to create something like a District of Columbia. And they say, why is it real? Because we say it's real. And then now it is, according to the law. But that's not actually rational, but it doesn't matter. So I'm just kind of whatever, rambling a little bit here now. So you guys have got tons of comments, so I'm just going to move along here. So I guess Rondo was saying just the federal triangle is like the city of London or the Vatican. Yeah, I see. Yeah. That's that, what do you call it? The Freemason influence on modern politics can be seen in a place like Washington, D.C., if you know how to look, right? So I encourage people to go down that rabbit hole. And sorry, Yonina, I don't mean to use schizo as a pejorative or anything. You know, I'm just trying to say in that if it's a disorder that people have, they shouldn't try to they shouldn't embrace a belief system where they're sort of making their disorder to be a natural thing that should be encouraged, whatever. If you have something that like distorts your perception of reality, you should want to overcome that distortion to be able to better perceive reality. You should not want to celebrate your postmodernist inability to understand things like in a rational way, right? I worry, I feel, from my perspective, I see a bit of a glorification or intended proliferation of like schizophrenia. You know, it benefits the capitalists to create a population that doesn't really, that has difficulty properly attaining a real understanding of reality. It's like they just gaslight everybody, right? And so eventually the gaslight becomes like more palatable than proper air kind of thing, you know, to use a pollution metaphor. You can get used to anything apparently, right? So Lance is saying an interesting thing here. They say that the triumvirate was set up with London as the financial capital of the world, Washington the war capital of the world, and Vatican the spiritual. That sounds about right. The only problem would be how you can wage economic warfare against the seat of the kinetic warfare if they were ever actually in tension, right? So those kinds of things bleed into each other, right? You can have psychological warfare. And so I'm not sure how much these three actors are still in lockstep, but I highly suspect that their unity remains unbroken, right? They understand that their survival and their wealth and power is heavily dependent on each other. As much as they probably hate the fact that they have to rely on anyone, the ruling class would rather rely on each other than consider any kind of alternative that would give the rest of us working class any kind of power. Because we would put a stop to that kind of monopolization of financial control and armament and of course nobody wants people to have a monopoly on spiritual development, which is where the Vatican in particular, as far as a religion, is highly offensive to me, because they, with the stuff like we talked about, like the doctrine of discovery, they have completely turned inside out the kind of concept of what it means to be spiritual. You know, they've done the most abhorrent things while claiming to be the most people with the most sanctity, you know? And so that's just so disgusting and so much cognitive dissonance there. But yeah, I will get back to this article here now. So thanks for all your comments, guys. So yeah, the carjacking assault came after two other high-profile attacks over the past 3 months. On May 21st, 2 employees of the Israeli embassy in Washington were gunned down outside the Capitol Jewish Museum. We all kind of remember that. although it's kind of faded already. There's so much that happens. People might forget about this sort of thing unless we're reminded about it. So the 2 employees were gunned down outside the Capitol Jewish Museum, allegedly by a 31-year-old Illinois man shouting "Free, Free Palestine." An indictment against the suspect, charging him with federal hate crime and murder, was unsealed this week. And that whole situation was so utterly suspicious, and I highly encourage us to keep in mind this word allegedly there, because even if he was the shooter, he's likely a patsy, and there's a whole kind of psyop involved in framing that kind of man, just like the whatchamacallit, I'm forgetting, is Luigi Mangione or whatever. It's like there's a whole bunch of, almost as if there's a whole bunch of copycat kind of things happening now, and the state wants to is on a major spin campaign to and cover up or censorship campaign to not actually have the public understand how much that these kinds of actions can be inspired by and have an actual legitimate destabilizing effect on a corrupt government that deserves to be destabilized. So on June 30th, Eric Tarpinian Jacob, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, a 21-year-old intern for Republican Ron Estes, was fatally shot in Northwest Washington, D.C. when he got caught in the crossfire of a drive-by shooting, according to police. No arrests have been made in the homicide. And I don't think that they were actually targeting specifically this 21-year-old, although maybe like that big balls guy was specifically targeted for something that he said. I feel like this guy was literally caught in the crossfire. They were probably going for someone more high profile. And of course, whatever those high profile people like Trump, whatever, would happily use someone like this 30-year-old intern like a goddamn human shield, right? So if you're considering going to get wealthy or influential by working for an organization, whatever, like the Trump administration, you fuck around and you find out. You don't deserve any sympathy whatsoever, okay? You should know full well, because there's all kinds of people all over the community everywhere, telling everyone these people are awful. You can't support them or be supported by them. Any kind of relations with some people like these Republicans and Democrats and stuff is toxic, and you will rightfully destroy your reputation personally by being involved with these people. But most of those kinds of people willing to be involved with them already know that, and they don't give a fuck about what people think about them. So anyway, Tarpinian Jacob's mother, Tamara Tarpinian Jacob, told ABC News on Thursday that she believes that the laws in Washington, D.C. need a drastic overhaul to crack down on juvenile offenders and gang members caught committing violence. I'm shocked that the mother of this particular ambitious fool is such a fascistic moron, just utterly shocked. So as far as I'm concerned, if Trump feels that he needs to take it over until city leadership can get their act together and start prosecuting these juveniles and these people to the fullest extent of the law and not slap their hands so they can go out and do it again and get into more violent crime as they age, I feel it's a good idea. Yeah, of course you do, you fucking idiot. But she added, "My son didn't deserve what happened to him. Nobody deserves that. He was shot. He wasn't the intended target." Well, if we're going to talk about who deserves what, none of the people of America deserve the fucking oppression that your son and the administration he worked for are fully intending to exacerbate to the extreme, right? Nobody deserves to get illegally picked up by ICE, but you want that to go on. You want this shit to be made, whatever, overhauled to crack down, right? You want everything to get worse, but you don't think that you deserve the fucking blowback of what you do. You don't know what you're saying. That's all I'm saying, right, lady, whoever the hell you are? So Washington, D.C. residents can expect to see an increase in federal law enforcement around the city starting as early as this week, a White House official told ABC News. The official stressed that operational details have yet to be finalized, but the White House is working with multiple agencies to use federal and local enforcement to monitor crime in the city. And this reminds me of the border stuff too, by the way. Whatever crackdowns that people are managing to do, it's all ultimately just going to be temporary. You can do your campaign of oppressive violence, and you can feel like you've accomplished something, just like the IDF, whatever. We're going to roll into Gaza. We're going to show them who's boss. But that's going to be ultimately, in the long term, going to be a fucking temporary failure. And you're going to expend a bunch of resources looking real tough, but you're going to prove to everyone how weak you are. And so, just because I brought up the border, I'll mention, oh, hi, Abby, by the way, good to see you, whatever. That the border thing, I've seen they're making statements. They haven't seen a single person, illegal person's been allowed into the United States, as if it's all to do with Trump being such an efficient leader and everything. But you got to understand how climate change affects migration and stuff, and how statistically, if there's like drought in Mexico, there would be people who want to go to the U.S., right? And then you look at the climate change last year, there's not so much bad drought in Mexico, so there's less people have an incentive to come to the U.S. But you don't talk about the details like that behind the story, than the propaganda narrative of we're so bad, we're so awesome, whatever, that they think we're so awful that they want to stay away from us. You can believe that kind of thing, but they're literally not as much of the fascists are not as much of a threat as they would like us to believe, right? They're more of a threat psychologically than they are physically, unless we refuse to prepare ourselves to fight back, in which case we allow them to be able to defeat us. But we're just as tough as they are, right? If we allow them to convince us that we're stupid and weak, then guess what? That's what we are. So I've talked kind of long enough, and now that Abby is here, how's it going, Abby? You want to say hi to everybody?
No, you're doing fine. I'm pretty discombobulated right now.
Yeah, me too.
I've had a tough week, but it sounds like you are right on track. Like the dystopia is mind blowing. It's like all the distractions to it just feels like they are trying so hard to cover up their crimes, and they're throwing all us under the bus in the meantime. So you know how we talked about we not going out there, we not protesting, and now he's like, oh, crime in D.C., which has been going down for I don't know how long. There's like videos of them just harassing black people, just sitting outside smoking cigarettes or walking, jaywalking, and I still say the same thing. Black people, go home. Because what they want us to do is be in the streets. That's what they want. They are trying to provoke black people so hard, and we haven't fell for it this long. Let's not fall for it now. They can't expel us from this land legally. They cannot. Now, if they start trying to do that, then we'll rise up. But for now, stay home.
I think it's important to take note that Washington, D.C. is a black majority city. It has been for a long time. But then it's kind of it's still the hot seat of the American white supremacy. So they seem determined to never allow the black population there to have control over their own city, right?
Yeah, it's easy for him to call them out. Hold on, I'm sorry. Are they still doing this on? I think it's about to show you something that I don't want to show right now. Yep. So it's easy for them to call the National Guard because it's a city without a state. So I think that is just a precursor to what they already talked about. We're going to do this in all 50 states. And, you know, like we're going to target the most vulnerable cities. And they're claiming Pam Bundy. Oh, if I ever saw her. Whew. Okay, they're claiming that we're going to provide you with mental health services, or it was something else. And if not, you go to jail. Who amongst us really believes that a government that just cut Medicaid, just cut SNAP, doesn't care about veterans, is all of a sudden so caring about homeless people that they're going to provide them with mental health services? We can't even get health care. No, it's straight to jail. And the private prison, like the stock on private prisons is about to go shoot right up. And those are the people, along with other prisoners, that they are going to use to pick the fucking blueberries that they asked the nurses to do, or they thought black people was gonna go do because they was, taking all the immigrants out. And black people were like, we not, if you think we getting in the field for white people ever again in life, you crazy. Ain't no way. So now it's going to be the prisoners and the homeless people that they are enslaving, because they're definitely not providing them with mental health services or rehabilitation services.
Well, they're definitely making all the trauma way worse, right? What they're doing with the homeless people is using mental health as a way to force them into medical institutionalization, right? So it's like unless you do what we say, we're going to take away your autonomy in a way that's extremely mental, like damaging to mental health. And anyone who knows anything about mental health understands this. But these are people who probably have never actually read anything about mental health. They're just use it as a political football. So.
And I'm gonna see if I can look this up real quick. So you've heard of HIPAA laws, right?
I heard of them. I forget what it stands for.
So let me just okay. I just needed to get that out. So HIPAA is, I don't know what it stands. I can't remember what it stands for either, but it's supposed to be, it's Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, HIPAA. So just like anything else in America, the way they state the law is to make you feel like it's for you, but HIPAA is actually against the American citizen. Like the way they fed it to us is it was going to protect our privacy, but it doesn't. HIPAA allows, they sell your data, they put your data in a database, all this stuff. But they sell it as, the people like your nurse, your doctor, your practitioner, they can't talk about your medical history. But guess who can? Everybody else behind the scenes. So if you've ever had a mental health crisis, or if you're taking medicine for your mental health, you are vulnerable under this administration. Yeah, thank you, Yanina. Oh wait, hold on. HIPAA doesn't. Sorry.
Protect
Wait.
from the government.
Jeez, wait. It's moving so fast. Hold on.
That one?
Okay. HIPAA doesn't protect you from the government subpoena. Correct. And then Sean says HIPAA is only for professionals. Exactly. It's only for the small people. But that the Palantir and all those people, they got all that information. And just like they were trying to get Medicaid data, Medicare, not Medicaid, I'm sorry, that's for elderly, right? Medicare data. They're doing the same thing with HIPAA. Because he's trying to criminalize mental illness at this point. But you know what he's not trying to criminalize? Being 14 and being an adult. He's trying to, because you know why? Because he's trying to protect him and his friends on that list.
Yeah. Well, that's where I went looking into that, and I'm hoping you got some better sources than the mainstream crap that comes up when you type shit into Google or whatever. Because I was trying to see. I found one article, first of all. It's like a Substack article that made a claim about Trump signs an executive order retroactively lowering the age of consent to 10, and it seems like that's
not 10, no.
Not 10. No, I know, but the person who made this Substack, it seems like they're making up information like completely out of whole cloth. So this is where I'm saying we have to figure out what the actual information is, because then there's a whole bunch of spin doctors that are going to try and create a whole bunch of
narratives,
similar sounding statements that are false, right?
And it's up to us to be like, okay, to get the real information out.
Yeah.
As much as possible, because we could get bamboozled too, you know?
Yeah, because people believe basically what they think is plausible, and they don't necessarily always make sure that what they're believing is based on facts. So, and I also want to say hello, Fiddleford. Good to see you. Solidarity. Thanks for showing up.
Is it okay if I just play something real quick just to take a little break?
Yeah, go ahead.
I long week. I don't think I even told you how bad this week has been, but yeah.
We haven't had time to talk, maybe.
Exactly. Okay, so here we go. I just thought this was interesting, and we could talk about it on the other side. Oh, can't hear it.
Poor people of America.
I hate how they play this music, like this dramatic ass music behind it. I can't stand that, but if we can get past that and just listen to this, and we'll see what happens.
Y'all listen to this guy. Crazy what he says. Poor people of America.
A lot of people get confused about who and what the Anunnaki act.
Wait.
I was going to say, that doesn't sound like what we were about to get into. Did the video
no,
skip
it
to the next
doesn't.
one?
It did. So
this is part of what I'm saying about these platforms are like pushing schizophrenia on people. They want things to not make sense on purpose. So I need a better word, maybe.
No, I mean that makes sense to me. I could try to play this one in the meantime. This is only a minute, so I could try to do this one instead till I figure out what the hell is going on.
Well, Facebook's a
but
garbage
this one is
platform.
also pretty. Yeah, this one is also pretty relevant. But yeah, everybody just remember to keep your sanity, because they are trying to make us feel like something is wrong with us. And everything is wrong with them. That something is seriously wrong with these people. Okay, so let me switch over here. Mouse SF, you never had health insurance? How's that possible?
Hello, by the way.
Yeah, like on purpose or just because of your circumstances? I'm very curious to hear that. Hey, Bella. Okay, here we go.
Is it true that automatically you can jump from capitalism to socialism? No. The ruling bourgeoisie will try to kill you first, suppress you. So when Marx says in the Communist Manifesto, you must win the battle for democracy, it means you must assert your democratic rights, the right to assemble and speak out, and all the other rights. And then when your mass movement becomes big, And then they will try to suppress you. They will come out with fascism. So before you can have socialism, the capitalist, monopoly capitalist class will unleash fascism under various pretexts. They use chauvinism against immigrants, xenophobia, Islamophobia, and also many other tricks just to hide the roots of the crisis.
Mm. To hide the roots of their crisis.
Yeah, that's I forget that guy's name. I know his last name. I'm trying to remember his first name. Jose Maria Sison. I think he's passed away a couple of years ago or recently. So may he rest in peace there. Communist revolutionary from the Philippines. The Trotskyists don't really like him very much. But I think it would be nice for us to talk about the Philippines and China and what's happened as to why the communists didn't exactly have solidarity with each other. That's an interesting rabbit hole to dive down, whatever. But it's good to see that kind of a clip, whatever, having an influence. So.
Yeah, I just thought it was a good one to
Yeah.
play. Still don't know what happened to that other one. But we could keep talking, and I could bring it up a little later, because I really wanted to bring it up because the way the comments were going. Well, I'm gonna wait till I bring it up. I'll wait till I bring it up because out of context, it's not gonna mean anything to you, you know.
This is an important point that Marietta, Yonina, and Jack were having a bit of a side conversation. So sorry to put your business on display, whatever. But this is an important thing about if you get diagnosed with a mental illness, it changes your legal standing. So some mental illnesses keep you from being a credible witness in the court of law. So it becomes very important to defend your reputation.
Interesting, but they could.
Not that a court of law is really some important. This is where I would love for the law to be more important, whatever, more effective. But since it's so corrupt, it's like it would be a right worth defending to be able to be a credible witness, except for being a credible witness in the corrupt legal system isn't worth that much. So, hello, antediluvian atheist. What's up?
Hello. I'm really trying hard to not be. I feel like I'm like delving into nihilism today, and I'm trying hard not to be that for the podcast. But I'm not having a good day. I'm just not having a good day.
Well, I'm sorry.
And I guess I should just say that. So I pulled it up again so we could discuss it. Now while I'm pulling this up, Sunday my mom just walked out the house and just was walking down the street like out of nowhere. My 90-year-old the 90-year-old neighbor was banging on the door like the police. And here I am. Who the fuck is banging on my door like the police? It's this old lady. Your mama I don't know what she doing. And thank goodness for great neighbors. It's like all the neighbors converge out and they're pointing. Turn left. She went that way. Like trying to help me find her.
That's good.
It was a long day. So yeah, and she had cataract surgery on Monday. Like it's been doctor after doctor all week. So yeah, I'm a little bit tired.
And
listen to this shit about thank you, Mousy. And listen, and the shit with Trump did not help. And I tried to like not watch as much, but then I was like, I kind of got to watch for the podcast. Yeah.
I'm in the same little boat here. There's like, I kind of would prefer not to have to watch some of this stuff for my own mental health, but I'm like, I kind of have to, whether I like it or not. Now that we've started to do this, so it's all right. We got to do our work.
Yeah, fiddle for it. Like, so that's why we should do another dance party because I feel like I need it. I feel like I need to dance. And thank you, Sean. It will get better. Like, things, we always have to remember it might suck now, but it will get better. It better get better. And if it doesn't feel like it's getting better, we're going to make it better.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you, man. She was on.
Yeah, there might be a bit of a need for some change in the medication. That's true.
Yeah.
But people tend to think that all you need to do is find the right balance of meds and it'll all make everything work. And I feel like at some point you got to admit that there is no medication change that's going to fix things when they get far advanced.
Some things she's getting to the point where she's been accusing me of stealing. And I heard I've been to like those not self-help, like those support groups or whatever. And that's one of the symptoms because they can't find stuff, so they accuse you of stealing it or something like that. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, we're here now.
Yeah, that's here. A warning sign because then things can get pretty serious where if she's like paranoid and suspecting you of stealing, then maybe she'll suspect you of doing other actual crimes, and then it's who's she gonna call? I hope she wouldn't call any police on you or something. But.
My mom is super nice. She's so sweet and super nice. Like the support group, and they were saying how like people would get angry and stuff. My mom's anger is not really anger. It's just like, and then she like smacks her lips and walks off. That's angry to her. So I'm lucky enough to not have that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway.
Well, that's very different compared to when I get angry or whatever. People get a little bit like, oh my God, do we need to worry? Like, maybe I need to take a page from your mom's book and well, fine then. Be that way, you naughty person.
When you get angry, I'll be laughing my ass off because not to be like laughing at your pain or whatever, but you are fucking hilarious.
Well, apparently it's one of those coping mechanisms is you try and turn your outrage into some kind of comedy, and it is a good way to release some of that tension. So I've been learning some from you guys. You guys have been helping me try to be a little bit more laugh in the face of evil. So you hear that all the co-hosts in the chat, you're helping us. So thank you very much for that. Because I know that one day you called me, Tasha, and I was laughing so fucking hard. And I knew it wasn't funny, but it was fucking funny. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so here we go. And I'll meet you on the other side, okay?
Okay.
Y'all listen to this guy. Crazy what he says. Poor people of America. Not because they are weak, but because they were the first to see the machine from the inside. And I'm about to defend the working class of America like no one ever did. And by the time I finish, you'll see them with different eyes. For over a century, the American people have been fighting back. They have. Through civil disobedience, whistleblowers, grassroots movements, union strikes, and the relentless invocation of their constitution. The real battle wasn't red versus blue. It was corporation versus constitution. And every time the people gained ground, the system adapted. You have to understand something.
May I stop here for a second? Because we gotta put this in context because he said the American people, for hundreds of years, the American people have been fighting back. And he like generalized it like we all together, and we're not. And that is going to matter later. Okay?
Right. Yeah. Okay.
So I'll pull it back a little bit. Okay.
Grassroots movements.
I'll wait to when he says that.
For over a century, the American people have been fighting back. They have. Through civil disobedience, whistleblowers, grassroots movements, union strikes, and the relentless invocation of their constitution. The real battle wasn't red versus blue. It was corporation versus constitution. And every time the people gained ground, the system adapted. You have to understand something very important. When a system becomes parasitic, it doesn't destroy its enemies first. It destroys the host. And America has been the host. America was also the test lab. They were first to be flooded with addictive pharmaceuticals. First to be buried in weaponized debt. First to be psychologically fractured by engineered identity wars. First to be entertained into sedation. And first to be punished. Because if Americans woke up fully, it would be game over for the machine. That's why the system doesn't fear a foreign enemy. It fears the awakening of its own people. The American people are a hero, but no one told them they were living in the dragon's mouth. And what you're witnessing in the collapse of trust, the social chaos, the inability to distinguish truth from manipulation isn't because the people have failed. It's because the people have been systematically broken and then blamed for it. They are not the tyrants. They are the first line of resistance that's being crushed preemptively, so the rest of the world won't get any ideas. So what now? Do we abandon them? Do we mock them? Or do we finally recognize that behind the opioid crisis, the obesity, the division and the rage is a population in mourning? Mourning the death of its sovereignty, its family structures and its purpose. The question isn't whether Americans deserve to be free. The question is whether they'll remember that they were born to be. And when they...
Y'all listen to this guy. Crazy what he
Okay,
says.
so basically, hold on. I'm sorry. Here we go. So basically, he's saying they're like the rest of the world is getting scared because they see the imperialism is going to come after them next. So they're like, we got to get behind the American people now. Because damn, like they got to fight from the inside so we don't get crushed from the outside. Is how I took it.
Well, I think that's a pretty good way to take it. I appreciated the way that he framed it. It's corporation versus the Constitution. That's a good kind of soundbite way to get people to understand. And I to some degree, I can agree that it's not necessarily as much left versus right as people would make it out to be. But I do feel that is one of the things that's holding the American people back from coming, from healing themselves from being broken the way that they have. One of the things he said is that they've been subjected to like identity wars kind of thing. And that is where it turns into left versus right, as opposed to bottom versus top. And we are falling for that. And we would be better off if we stopped falling for that. That's my
Well,
opinion.
I'm really glad you said that because, like, in the comments, like, there are all these people like, "I'm ready, let's ride," and I'm looking at them like, "Well, who are you riding for?" Because
We're not
America
ready.
we're not ready. What are you
Yeah.
ready for? Because they keep talking about the Civil War. Who are we fighting? Who are you going to fight? What, I just really, I'm trying to figure out if it's a civil war from like a classist civil war. Okay, I can get behind that, but I don't think that's what they're talking about.
No.
They're talking about everything that I fear, that I don't understand. Black people, brown people, gay people, trans people. That's my enemy. If we could just get rid of them, we'll have a pure eugenics.
Yeah.
Eugenics. America would just be great if we could just get rid of those motherfuckers.
Right.
So when they say, "Who are we fighting for?" I mean, like when they say, "I'm ready, let's roll, let's band together." I don't know you like that. Sorry.
And
Hey,
if we
Master.
got to know each other, yeah. Hey, Mastermind, what's up? If we got to know each other a bit better, we would find contradictions that we are not really trying to resolve very well. Like we may find a lot of people that are on board with us about we got to take care of it. Like we got to see this Epstein list. But I'm pretty sure that like half the people who want that list out in the public and everything, want people prosecuted for that, are the people who think we need to get this corrupt, whatever, cronyism out of power so that we can restore capitalism to its intended nature. And those are the people we can't really work with until they recognize that that's not going to work. You're going to end up all over again with a Trump, whatever, next time, a different kind of version of Trump, because you tried to restore capitalism instead of abolish it. But
So, I have a comment for that, but I just want to say, Mastermind, I wish you were here earlier when I was talking about my mom. I might have to call you for some support. Love you. Um, so about what you were saying, I want to hear from the chat. I feel like MAGA has been real fucking silent lately. Like they was real bold, talking all kind of shit, and now they are like quiet as a fucking church mouse. Do you know like 50 children have been stolen in July and August from Virginia, the Virginia area?
oh,
I mean, we could pull it up. You don't have to believe me. We could pull it up. And when I saw it, because they're like they're talking about it locally, but how is that not national news? And they're all brown and black children since August 1st. And I looked up the distance between DC and Virginia. It's a 20-minute drive. I was like, oh shit. Oh, shit. Where have these kids gone?
yeah.
We don't know if it's, we don't know what it is, but we know they're missing. I'm not gonna, give conjecture. Y'all can in the comments. Go ahead. I can't on the screen. Um,
Yeah. Well, the unfortunate thing is that, like Yonina's saying, they're stealing children everywhere. That's kind of true. Unfortunately, our enemies can also try and use the narrative. We got to save those those abandoned or kidnapped children, right? Because Putin, one of the talking points they're using against Putin is he stole a bunch of Ukrainian kids and sold them to a bunch of kidless Russians, and he's a child trafficker or whatever. It's like he saved those children from a fucking war zone. And sorry, they're probably better in Russia right now than in Ukraine. Okay.
every accusation is a confession.
Yeah.
And you know what, I'm saying that, but here I am accusing all kind of people of all kind of shit. So am I confessing? No. But it just seems like from these people, every accusation becomes proven to be a confession.
And then they want to
Like
use
you can't prove any of that from me.
they want to use the propaganda tactic of the mirror of accusation. So then when we say something like every accusation is a projection, then they just turn that
No,
mirror on.
not a projection, a confession.
Confession. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So then they try and say, well, tit for tat kind of thing, whatever. Well, if you say that about me, I can say that about you, and it's equally valid. It's like, no, you're the one who's being the criminal, right? And I'm not. Therefore, when I'm calling you out for your criminality, I'm not fucking confessing anything. I'm just establishing facts. You know what I mean? So.
Antediluvian atheist says, by international law, Russia was required to evacuate the kids from the war zone, which would make sense. Yes, that's a good point. Well, I ain't gonna bring up Israel. I'm leave that alone. If we already know.
I've seen some other. Antediluvian had a good comment too. She was saying the people who like real capitalism are the same people who like puppies but not dogs, and puppies don't stay puppies, of course. That's a nice little analogy. And there was also
the people who like dogs will step over a homeless person to feed a dog.
Yeah, what's that about, right? Interesting. So and Fiddleford had.
I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
That's okay. I just seen this. Wanted to comment on this comment where you're saying because I agree with it. We are not ready. The iron is hot, and we have squandered our organizational opportunities. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like we could say we have squandered, or we are in the process of squandering them. Because I got all awoken like crazy, like around the COVID, where 2019, 2020, you start to see all these things happening and about to happen, and you're like, now's the time. Everyone should be organizing like crazy, mobilizing against this, insanity that's about to happen. And did anybody take that situation seriously? We have all the climate change stuff happening. Nobody's dealing with it. Perfect motivator for people to organize, right? We got the economy crashing because of the post 2008 contradictions that were never resolved.
We're in a wreck.
Yeah, we had the COVID stuff happen, and they didn't give a shit. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Black Lab says hi.
Hey, what's up?
She has to leave. So, I didn't mean to cut that. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I was just trying to say we have all these incentives. If we needed very strong reasons for people to mobilize, we have all of those reasons and more. And yet it seems like people are doing their best to make excuses to avoid doing all that hard organizational work. And so it's probably good. Sean was saying, I don't think we've squandered. To have done that, most would have to know, and I don't think they do. So maybe we have some hard work to do to get people to know, right? This is where I've been communicating with one of my neighbors who recently he's watched the show a few times, and I have found out how much work I have to put in to just to educate somebody, and it's not their fault at all. People have varying life circumstances that they're not exposed to this information, and people like us or whatever have an opportunity to look into this stuff, and we have to understand the power of our information that we've acquired. So
he actually just from like that small time where I met him, he gave me I feel like us, a very good pointer on how we approach the podcast. Because you and I are into this shit. Our most of the people that tune in to us all the time, they already understand this information, so we're speaking the same language. He said he was confused about a lot of the shit we said. So now I understand why you have to like reiterate what a word means, what a term means, because there might be somebody that might watch later or who is watching now that isn't into politics the way we are. So you got to, so we all got to hold on and give it some time, like be patient while we're explaining this stuff.
Yeah. Or we're leaving people
that was
behind.
my takeaway
Yeah, because
from
we
what he
leave people
said.
behind when we're not
Mm-hmm.
trying to reach those who aren't as advanced with their vocabulary or their political understandings. It's just, as much as we feel like we should maybe we have to spend our efforts on those that are more reachable, and then we can't get to everybody, so we have to kind of compartmentalize and decide who needs to be abandoned. That's not really the socialist kind of mindset. Sometimes in order to get from A to B, where we want the revolution so bad that we start to actually contradict our own belief system, and that's one of the ways that we never actually achieve the revolution, even though it feels to us in the moment that being practical is the way to do it. But abandoning people who just need help learning is not what I would call pragmatism. You know.
Lance said if you wait, if you made the average person watch this show, they tap out.
Nice. I appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah. Should we appreciate that, or should we take that as a life lesson to do something better? So
it's one
with
of
that
those
being
mixed things. It's like it's nice, kind of like a compliment, but it's also a problem.
it's also a problem, right?
Yeah.
Sean says,
I've tried
I
to make the average
know,
person watch. They don't care. They don't want to, right? So it's like, how do we get into their heads? You know.
I know people who watch CNN, MSNBC, Fox, and won't discuss politics at all. So what are you watching it for?
That's exactly what I was thinking. You
know. Can I come back to this? Can I come back to Sean's?
Yeah.
Was it Sean? Yeah. Okay. I want to come back to that, but I don't want to miss this point about how in the comments they were like, let's roll. And it's like Americans think because we have guns, we have the Second Amendment, that we down for whatever. First of all, we don't even know who we fighting with and we don't even know what we fighting for. So that's the first problem. And then the second problem is they will starve us the fuck out because half of us, well, I'm going to let Killer Mike say it. I'm going to let Killer Mike tell it all.
Well, people just don't believe that the enemy is as ruthless as we say they are. They don't even believe that they're an enemy, which is that's the problem.
Yeah.
They just think like that's your opinion, you know.
They don't believe that they are willing to kill you.
Exactly.
They're trying to do it right now with the food and all the stuff. But here we go. Wait, you can't hear it.
Oh, muted.
See.
I'm not against nobody on the panel.
All right.
I have to say this because I know our spirit and our emotions get stirred. I'm not against nobody on the panel. I'm with everybody on the panel. I'm not diametrically opposed to anybody on the panel. I agree with everything my brother said about revolutionaryism. So let me ask you guys a few questions. We're in the South. We're in the heart of the South right now. Who fishes? Who knows how to fish? Hands down. Who knows how to hunt? Less hands. Hands down. Who shoots on a regular basis, meaning once or twice weekly? Hands down. Now you see how many hands? Who farms or grows their own food right now? Hands
Same
down.
guy every time.
You ain't ready to oppose nothing.
I'm saying same guy.
You are as a part of this system as any white person gentrifying in this city. And you can't tell me I don't know what I'm talking about, because I've lived in this neighborhood long enough to know when 2 out of every 5 yards had a garden in the back. I'm old enough to know that when the Muslim community was the strongest security force and their own food force in this community. Black people, I love you, and I love you enough to tell you, you ain't ready to revolt shit. You don't feed yourself. You don't hunt your own animals and slaughter them. You don't prepare your own meat. You don't own your own land. You don't have a seed growing in your window. So when you think about revolutionaryism and you think about fighting and dying in the street, you ain't shit if you can't feed your children. You ain't nothing if you can't teach your children to hunt. I've been hearing this revolutionary talk all my life. All my life, I've been seeing leaders get before me and tell me how much of a strong warrior. And just like the United States Army, just like the military, I've seen their words send black boys off to die in the street fighting and arguing with police. You have no win. He was innocent and he got 19 years. His mama couldn't afford the right lawyer. His dad didn't know a senator. You have no wins. How many of you practice a martial art today? Who practices a martial art today? How many boys are practicing a martial art in your community today? Today. That's what I'm saying. We not ready to fight. You say fight back, fight the police. The police are trained to shoot. They're trained in martial combat. We're not. What are we going to do? Now, I'm not saying give up. I'm not saying you can't train yourself. But what I'm saying is, if you're not training every week, if you're not shooting every week, if you're not knowing how to grow your own food, arguing with me and arguing with the police ain't going to do nothing. Because if we all leave right now, all leave right now and we got a speeding ticket, we ain't all going to agree not to pay it. You understand what I'm saying? I agree we still slaves. I'm telling you right now today, Malcolm said by any means necessary. By any means necessary. And we're talking about children. We're talking about young men. These boys aren't even intelligent enough yet not to know what girl not to like. They're not even intelligent enough yet not to know I always should have a condom. They're not even intelligent enough yet to know not to argue with their teachers. Don't send these babies off to die because you didn't die when you was 21. Don't you send these babies off to die because you feel like you missed the 60s and the 70s. I want to see more black attorneys, more black law enforcement. I want to see more black people pooling their money to run their own candidates. I want to see more black police officers that are from the neighborhood, because I'm telling you, they tried to leave one time and they formed Liberia. Look at Liberia now. Look at what Haiti did. They revolted. Every European country punishes Haiti for revolting. So if you're not going to revolt tomorrow, if you're not going to do like Elijah said and take all the southern states, if you're not going to gentrify Alabama, stop trying to grow warriors to fight a fight you too scared to fight. You pay your speed tickets. You ain't not paying your tickets. You ain't telling kids how to bust out every car window. And then when they riot, you never there with them. When they riot, where's the church? Where are the teachers? Where are the institutions? So I'm just saying, you do what you want to. But as for me and my house, I'm going to raise a warrior that knows how to use his hands, knows how to use his mind, and love the people with his heart. Your job is to survive the encounter. Survive the encounter. And when daddy gets there with a lawyer, when daddy makes sure you got a judge that looks like you, we'll deal with that other shit. But you survive the encounter, young man. Don't you die on the side of the goddamn street like a dog.
So I disagree with the conclusions that he's made. He sounds like he's on point in a lot of ways there, but he's saying like we need to survive until we can have more black police and judges. I don't think you understand. Like Cobra said, I think you need to read some more theory, man. I mean, part of the theory though says that we need to find capitalists that we can work with, and it sounds like he might be one of those capitalists. We need some of their backing. But we don't need them in the leading the charge, telling classically the ruling class, bourgeois people telling the working class how to have their revolution, and we have to listen to what they say or else we're going to fail. So yeah, sorry.
Okay, so I played that because You gotta take what you will and leave the rest. You're not lying. If they shut down all the grocery stores today, how the fuck are you gonna eat
Exactly.
if you don't have a garden?
Yeah.
Or if you don't know how to hunt? You don't
These are
know, like, even
constructive
if you do kill, even if you do kill an animal, do you know how to skin it and gut it and get the meat off of it so you can cook it? Do you know how to do that? Like,
Yeah.
you know how to fish? We are completely dependent on these people.
But I think Jacqueline's point was effective here, but she's saying I think the huntable wildlife where I live consists of a family of foxes and a squirrel. So as much as it's right to encourage people to do the self-sustaining practices, what he's not doing is encouraging people to establish dual power where we have to take care of each other, not just become self-sufficient, because that's the capitalist
You know,
individualist mentality. You make
the only
yourself a
way
strong warrior, you know?
the only way you could take care of each other is if you're self-sufficient yourself, and then you have the ability to barter and trade
Right.
because you have a self-sufficiency that somebody else might not have. So you can. So Jacqueline, I was thinking about buying a BB gun and start shooting some of these squirrels because I can't. My garden will not grow anything of substance. I can only grow like herbs and stuff because the squirrels eat everything. We have a lot of squirrels. Squirrel meat tastes good, and I need to do something about this problem. That's not inhumane. It's just survival.
It's proper management of your ecosystem
Proper
where you can't
management of your
allow,
ecosystem.
yeah, you can't allow a certain species to destabilize the environment for the rest of the species.
I have a pecan tree. I have not once. I can't make pecan candy. I can't sell the pecans because the squirrels go up the tree, halfway eat them, and then drop them, and they rot in my yard. I've never seen a pecan, and the tree is huge. So they are basically, like messing up my ecosystem, and they're cute,
Mm-hmm. Well,
but they ain't that
so
cute.
Jacqueline was asking before the comment gets away from us. So who is Killer Mike? He's a rap artist,
Rap artists,
a successful,
and
wealthy
it's
rap artist. So as far as him telling everybody, if you're not doing this, you need to start doing it. But what is the elephant in the room with that question? Whatever, you can't do stuff you can't afford to do. This is where I would love to go
that is
train, get some
true.
firearms training, but I have not been able to. I've not had the economic means to actually carry out the potential that I might have. And so
That is
he has
true.
amassed this wealth. So what could he do? He could provide the community with the jump
Well,
start to
I
actually
can tell
accomplish
you
what he's talking about.
what he has done because he has like a series of barbershops, and he has a barbershop school where he teaches young men how to cut hair so they can, like build wealth for themselves.
Right,
He
but I
does do
imagine
that.
but what does he do? The important distinction that people are ignoring, those barbershops, I don't actually have. I'd have to double do a fact check or whatever, but I bet you he is the owner of those. He maintains the right to the profits from those barbershops, but he feels that what he's done is an effective community service because he's providing training for other
No, no,
people to
no.
themselves become capitalists, right?
I'm saying he has a few barbershops. I think I don't know how many, but whatever. But he created a barbershop school so kids can learn how to do hair themselves, and they could go create their own barbershop. Like,
I'm just saying it's important for people, if they're going to do something like that, the way that they organize the school or the business is extremely important, and everyone believes it's necessary to ignore the actual technical setup of the business, right? And that's what we need to get people to understand to actually transition from capitalism. We need to stop people from starting small businesses that are run by a sole proprietor
So
with exclusive
he
rights. That's
also
the main problem.
formed Greenwood, which is a like he does a lot of black business supporting. He formed Greenwood, which is a black-owned banking system. It's online if anybody cares to move their money into a black-owned banking system. There you have it.
But black owned isn't talking about people, though. It's like there's a distinction between a black single owner and a community of black people owning. Whereas like cooperatives, I feel like are not the perfect solution. But I think we should be encouraging people, if they're going to do some kind of economic activity, to do their best to not fall back into the trap of we can still have a viable business run by a single owner or a group of shareholders. And that, how does anyone think that that's not capitalism, is what I'm saying. You have to actually innovate.
Is there any bank that is owned by people?
Exactly. That's a good question
Is
that
there
we should
any?
be asking, right? We need to actually talk about the
So
technical
while
side.
we're like condemning him, at least he got a fucking black-owned bank. Because is there any bank owned by? How many corporation B companies are there? That's something we should look up. How many corporation B? B corporation, I think is what it's called. Companies that are in this country. I don't know that many. And
Yeah, so
by B corporation, that means the employees own stock in the company, like it's employee owned, basically.
see, that's an
And
interesting thing about employees owning stock. That's where I found a bit of a, that's one of the things that they're clever to use against us, where it's not technically owning the business. You'd be better off as workers to own a percentage of the business outright as an owner of the business. But if they own stock in the company, that's not the same thing as actually being the owner of the business. And that's something
I
kind of
might have
subtle.
said it wrong, so I'm looking. Okay.
I'm just saying, I've noticed that's a tactic that they're using to try and like act like a socialist capitalist. They'll be like, look, I'm one of you guys. I give you a chance to own part of your own business by giving you stock shares, which are useless if the stock market falls apart, which is where
Right.
they've found a clever way to get you to eat their loss, to take on their risk, as they always do. So
And Trump is trying to dig into the 401ks. That's another story. But okay, so there are there are different types of employee ownership models. Okay.
exactly.
So let's
And
look
they
at them.
like the
Employee stock
ESOP.
ownership. That's the one I was saying. These are retirement plans where well, shit, anybody could do that. That's a 401k. So we could just move past that one. When I think of B corporations, I think of this one, worker cooperative. These businesses are directly owned and democratically governed by their employees, which each worker owner holds an equal vote in company decisions and shares in the profits. Worker cooperatives are popular with smaller businesses and startups focused on a social mission. Okay, now I'm learning something about this one. Employee ownership trust. In this model, a trust holds company shares. So that's kind of almost like the other one with the stocks, right? Company shares on behalf of employees. Oh, wait, a trust holds company shares on behalf of employees. Oh, Lord. Who receive profit sharing bonuses, notes the U.S. Chamber. This is the one that we are concerned about. The other two sound like scams.
Exactly.
Scams from the government.
Well, the trust thing is people would feel is a valuable like way to go, because if you look at all these massive billionaires and whatnot, they have very successfully managed to use these financial mechanisms like a trust. But I would say that the problem with embracing the tactics of the capitalists is that maybe it will work for us, but they're deeply unethical tools, and like they only work by creating problems for other people. So it will not create a revolution, but it will create individual wealth for a group of people. So that's the problem with cooperatives. While we're on the topic, is even though they're a much better business model than the classic entrepreneurial kind of business model, they still have to operate within the capitalist economy. So they have to be able to compete with these corporations that have already had much longer time to establish a much bigger market share. So that's a very hard dynamic to wrestle with.
Unfortunately, we all have to work within the capitalist model because that's where we are, right?
Yeah.
May I ask real quick? Because the comment section is blowing up, and I'd like to pride myself on being able to like go in the comments and make sure everybody is involved because we like to have fun here. But I'm just too whatever. But
Michael
for the
Pan
comment,
is here. Wanted to say hello. He's
hi
agreeing with us
Michael.
here. Owning stocks in the company is not enough because workers are not directly involved in business operations. Worker cooperatives are needed immediately because corporations would find ways to outsource. Nice.
You know, Michael don't play. Michael is about the revolution, baby. But look, I forgot that I'm gonna put this up and just see. Do you guys in the chat? Do y'all like that? If we put that on the side, do you like it or you don't like it? Because if you don't like it, we won't do it anymore. But
well, what I would like is if it would be located on a different part of the screen, because when I watch on TV,
it can be bigger.
But this over in the corner there gets covered up by the chat, and you connect to the chat. The chat that it's showing is covered by its own chat. It's kind of annoying.
KYE doesn't mind. Rondo, the chat right there is right underneath me. See it? It's hard to read.
Cobra was making some comments about being he's kind of not so happy about black capitalism, which is something that you got to be a communist to understand the problems.
Can you pull it up? Can you pull it up so I don't know what
I see this one. I'm not sure if he probably got more comments that this is building off of.
What does it say?
These things are exceptions to the rule. The wealth and success of a few black celebrities and entrepreneurs does not negate the millions living in poverty. He was saying,
Cobra, I completely agree. Do you know there are like 14 black billionaires in this country? What the fuck are they doing? And you know what they're doing? They don't want to make no smoke because they know that they can be knocked off they square just as fast as they got their money. So they are an enemy to me.
Right. So that's where they can even
ain't skin folk.
They could even say all the right things where
I said it
sounds yeah. All skin folk ain't kinfolk, but
all skin folk ain't kinfolk.
That's kind of what he's saying. Like Killer Mike was making some fire speech there, right? But then he's not actually like paying his employee double pay kind of thing, right? Or not giving them equal authority.
Do we know that? We don't know. I don't know.
Maintaining, like we should look. We're right. We should look it up, right? But we could make bets on it, right? Just for fun. But I'm just saying, like, not even just paying your employee. That's one of the things that people always treat the boss like they're such a great guy because this particular capitalist actually pays their workers what they're actually worth. Okay, but he still maintains the authority to decide what to pay them, and he doesn't give them the same equal authority that he himself possesses. That's the main thing. We need the authority to set wages, not just having a nice benefactor who actually sets a wage we can work with. That's evolving, right?
The talented 10 is what W.E.B. Du Bois would call them. That's interesting. Like, maybe we should get into that.
Well,
because our elders tried to tell us, and we just not fucking listening. Yeah, you can put that back up. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, my bad. I'm just saying, I always appreciate Fiddleford's comments. He's a really well-studied Marxist, so he's got the traditional orthodox Marxist understanding. Like, he's done the reading in a lot of ways that many of us haven't. So I appreciate what he's got to say here. He's to say more identity groups should have access to power is a liberal progressive position. The Marxist position is all of our emancipation lies with my fellow man. So these kinds of statements get to be kind of boilerplate. People kind of, it seems almost idealistic that the communists believe that we're all going to emancipate each other together, right? But that's actually grounded in materialist, like, we've done the math, right? And if we try and have these identity groups that have more access to power, we recognize that as much as we would love to believe that it's going to amount to something, history shows us that we end up back at square one somehow. And the Marxist position is about explaining, why does that happen? Why do we keep falling for this liberal progressive bullshit? And what should we do instead to get out of that trap? But people don't actually listen to us, is what I've found is to be the main problem. Not that we're not right, it's that they don't believe us.
Is that a he or a she?
Fiddleford, I believe he's a he.
Yeah. Okay, well, he's always welcome to come on and talk more in depth, because I have to admit I'm not well read on the subject. I just feel it in my heart.
Yeah, well, that's one of those.
It's like it just makes sense.
It takes a lot of work to do all that reading, and then there are people with different strengths, right? And so some people's strengths are their ability to read theory like crazy, but we need them to be able to share their wisdom, and we need to have the humility to listen to them. So.
And did you wait, I just lost my train of thought. I don't know what. Oh, you remember when you told me that book from Lenin about labor, and I went to the library and I tried to huh?
It's never even there. That's the other hard part.
It wasn't. Not only wasn't there. Like, even the man was just like, he was like, yeah, a book like this, you're gonna have a hard time finding it. Because I was like, can you find a different library? He was like he felt bad. He was like, this white dude, long hair, just like a hippie. Sis, you're gonna have a hard time finding this book. The only thing I could tell you is to order it on Amazon.
Yep. And that's the frustrating thing.
Why did I order a Lenin book on Amazon?
Yeah. How do we get access to these books? We have to use the massive corporation, make the billionaire richer so we can have access to our revolutionary theory. That's where it becomes important.
Revolutionary content. That's crazy.
Yeah. But when you find the revolutionary organizations of people, they often will have their own publishing source that is more independent. It's not really captured by the capitalists as badly. And so it becomes important to recognize which publishing house to actually source your material from, because then you're supporting comrades instead of your enemies. So
I don't want to maybe I'm changing the subject, but is everybody aware Moody said we're in a recession? Microsoft laid off jobs. It's like the technocracy is on its way. Indeed, laid off jobs, like biotech industry, like all these jobs are being laid off in droves. And if you read the Moody's report, we are in a recession. Like they
For sure.
finally said it. They finally said it. And but Trump went on air saying Americans are doing the best they've ever done. Like
That's so
everything's
irresponsible.
amazing. It's
Yeah.
great.
And that's a big problem because people actually believe it. You know, that's where they make us into. This is what I've noticed. They make us into the messenger so that we're threatened with getting shot for just telling everybody about all the atrocious like lies that they're telling everyone. So we're the ones who have to tell people what's really going on, and that's the whole point. Because by making it so horrific, and then lying like crazy about it, and then leaving us with the bag of telling everybody, people will turn their discontent onto us for being the one constantly trying to get them to understand it and to do something about it, right? So
Like they're gaslighting us to the umpteenth power, just like Rondo just did. Read this and laugh. Read it out loud.
why would any self-respecting public library in the South have any sort of commie propaganda? Yeah. One. There was
hilarious.
another comment by Fiddleford. I wanted to just he was wrapping up what he was saying earlier. But my local library doesn't even have Philip K. Dick, but I don't even know who that is, but let alone Marx. Yeah, our libraries are sad. You know, I went to a bookstore on the street that I live on, trying to find some Marxist books, and they're like in a room in the back, and then all the books in the front of the store are like shitty imperialist propaganda books.
But I bet you they're all on the New York Times bestseller list.
Yeah, but it's
like anybody wants to read that shit.
But like, how out of I gotta be like one out of every 100 people who'd walk into that store actively asking to go see those books, and the other 99 people are gonna walk in and never even know that they're in that store.
Now, while you're looking for Fiddlefoot's comment, I'm gonna make y'all laugh. When my dad passed away, and I'm like trying to downsize some of his stuff, he had Rush Limbaugh books, Van Jones. What was that other guy's name? He was like that white economist. I can't even remember half. I don't want to remember. I don't want to remember them.
Yeah,
he had a load of books, and I was just like, oh my god, my poor daddy. He really bought into all this shit. May he rest in power.
Yeah, he drank the whole Kool-Aid, eh?
The whole Kool-Aid. Well, he was brought up that way. So, but anyway, go ahead and read that comment.
Fiddleford says what the identity groups become are oppressed by their own compradors, the capitalists of particular identity groups. Franz Fanon goes into great and emotional detail on this. I just feel like that's a really insightful understanding. Like, as much as people want to be anti-communist and say, no, our identity politics are going to work for us. It's going to accomplish the prosperity we're looking for. If we allow them to carry out their plans, and this is exactly what happens, I feel like it's important to say whatever, we were right about that, and we're not going to let it go. So
I want to go through some of these comments just to make sure we like touch on them because they're good comments. But they're scattered because our conversation is scattered, right?
Yeah.
So let's see how we. I'm gonna go over the like political stuff and come back to it, Cobra and Michael. I'm gonna come back to yours, but Mouse SF. So Mouse SF if I read a book, it is not going to be fiction.
Okay. Yeah. No, I do know then who this guy is. Yeah. Thanks. Thanks.
Yeah, I don't like reading fiction books. And people tell me that's not good for my brain, but I don't like doing it.
Well, I don't anymore. I
Um,
already read plenty of fiction books. I was going through a phase where I was trying to collect all the Star Wars books if I could, and because there's like 100 of them, I only got like halfway there. But that's still
I
an
read
accomplishment.
one fiction book as an adult, and it was gory. It was about murder. Now I watch like murder mysteries, which
Yeah.
is on a whole nother level. But anyway, Jacqueline says, I joined an online library and all the books that I wanted to read weren't even in that online library. So it was a complete waste of time. Seems like they only let approved books in that library, which is interesting. So Jacqueline, I mentioned before that if you there are if you Google like banned books e-library, there are a couple of libraries across the United States that will allow you to check out banned books. So maybe you could find them there. Um,
I just need
I
to
know
point
I
out
know we've talked about that before.
as far as that particular comment, everyone was so appalled, and it's one of those very iconic images about with Nazi Germany, World War II, Hitler's book burnings. Right, that was like one of the most atrocious things he could do. Not just burning the people, or burning the knowledge that the people rely on. And what do we have today? We have like a situation that is just as bad, if not worse, where they don't have to literally burn the book anymore. They can just not let it be on the online
You
marketplace
just
where
can't even find it.
exactly. So they've definitely managed to accomplish exactly what Hitler was trying to do with the book burnings, and nobody cares anymore. Sad, but that's what
No,
we're
they
not supposed
don't.
to get nihilistic about that kind of stuff. We're supposed to get enraged with revolutionary fervor to actually fucking change it, right?
Hmm. I'm sitting here trying to find the list. I know I know you can there's various cities, but I can't find them, so I'm just going to show you this one that I know because I lived in
And I just want to
Manhattan.
say, hey, driving me Macy, good to see you. Don't worry if you're late.
Driving
There's
me Macy.
no such thing as late.
Hello. So let's do this. Oh, here it is. Oh, that's great. Let me share it real quick. Share this tab instead. Let's see if this works. So it's not just Brooklyn Public
Oh,
Library, which
it's all blurry.
that's what this. Oh, okay. And let me make it bigger.
I just hope the blur gets fixed if you make it bigger there. I don't know why
It's
it's
super
doing that.
blurry.
Yeah,
It's
it
not
doesn't look.
making it
Oh, there
bigger.
we go. There we
It
go.
looks better now.
Yeah.
Okay. So you see it Brooklyn Library.org.
No, it's
I mean, you have
fuzzing
to
out again.
Google it because it's what?
Sorry to interrupt. It's fuzzing out again. I don't know why it's doing that. It still seems readable.
Okay. You have to Google banned books Brooklyn Library because this website address isn't like it doesn't spell out Brooklyn. It's like a short name or something. But if you go there, it shows you other libraries. You could also get banned books. So any of these libraries, whichever one you care to join, you can get a card. See where it says get card, and then you can get ebooks from that library. So maybe you could find the books there. I should probably check to see if Lennon is on here. I don't know, but hopefully that helps.
Seems like a good resource. Thanks for sharing that.
Yes, sir.
I gotta read more again, but I just don't know where I'm gonna find the time. I mean, I gotta finish that Lenin book that we were mentioning earlier. That's my bad, bad revolutionary. Read your theory,
Driving Miss. So um, my girlfriend in New York, she wrote a couple of books, and like it's an arduous process because the publisher like edits it, but if you go back and read their edits, sometimes it doesn't make sense. Like if the word goes to the next line where they put the hyphen, like it's not really on a syllable sometimes, or they grammatically fixed it incorrectly. It is an arduous process, so I really wish you well in that, because I know it's hard. I
See,
know it's hard.
people maybe need to rediscover respect for intellectual labor. I find like stuff like editing or videos or books is a lot more work than people give it credit for, and we maybe fetishize a little too much like physical labor, but they're both equally important. We shouldn't be raising one over the other. So
Yeah. So there's talk about the what I had up. So I'm gonna put it in the chat just in case anybody wants to check it out. So anyway, go ahead while I'm trying to.
yeah, I was thinking we only really touched on our first topic of the day, and we got two more topics in the title. You want to move to Trump Putin peace talks?
Well, I don't know enough about it.
There's not. It's kind of a nothing burger story, Uh, they're gonna have talks that are not going to amount to anything, partly because they're excluding the Ukrainians from their own peace agreement that they need to sign in order for it to be valid. But we also know
Is
Zelensky's
this
a
the
puppet.
thing where? Okay, is this? I'm sorry, y'all. For some reason, I'm trying to do like Command C, Command B, but it's not working. So just Google it. I apologize.
No
But
worries.
this is the talk where it's on the peace agreement where Ukraine ain't even at the table. So this sounds like colonizers all over again deciding amongst them what's going to happen for people.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's
Just
it's just
because just
it
because
makes me angry.
Putin is like fighting an anti-imperialist war against the Americans doesn't necessarily mean he's not like a capitalist kind of ruler. He's an oligarch himself. You know what I mean? So people tend to forget that.
How can Ukraine not that I like Ukraine? Let's get that straight. I mean, I don't dislike Ukraine, but
The people of it's just like the American people, right? The people of Ukraine did not deserve any of this, and they
some of
should
them
not be
did.
blamed. Right, exactly. There's always
The Nazis did.
right, but they're a much smaller percentage
A much
than
smaller
the vast
percentage of
majority.
the whole people.
So people
Exactly.
shouldn't get that twisted, right? And
Right.
there's actually
And
in public opinion lately has turned against the war effort and the joining of NATO. That's the kind of important little tidbits of facts that people want to dismiss because they've already decided to turn against the whole population or whatever.
yeah, it's not the entire population. They deserve a seat at the table. It's their table. I'm getting obsessed with trying to copy and paste this, and I should leave it alone. So yeah, we could talk about that. Can I step away for a second if you don't mind?
Yeah, go ahead, and then I'll I
I'll be
will
right
maybe
back.
start reading an article about the next topic. Yeah, we'll see in a bit.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Okay.
How do I? There we go.
So let's see what I can select for this pivot to the next topic here. Bear with me here. I gotta search through these different articles here. What I wasn't curious about today, I'll maybe just fill the time with a little bit of my speculation. I finally, I never, for whatever reason, it not occurred to me. Oh, I see Jimmy Tessiel's saying bye, y'all. Thanks for hanging out with us. I'll see you next time. And Jacqueline was also saying, sorry, she's got to go. Getting tired. No worries. Feel free to rewatch later. Appreciate you hanging out with us as always for as long as you do. So my browser has blocked my screen. I'm getting some kind of notice, but so that anyway. Sorry, I got a bit distracted by you guys saying goodbye. But so what I was saying is I finally, it occurred to me to ask the question, because all this Epstein stuff's going around. Do you think Putin is maybe on that list too? Is it implausible that Putin would be one of these Epstein clients? And so I went looking into that today, and I found that there's like Russian oligarch writing a Russian oligarch named Mikhail Khodorkovsky that Putin kind of undermined his influence there, and he's now exiled in the UK, and he's running a news outlet kind of thing, among other activities, I'm sure, writing hit pieces about Putin being, about Epstein being involved with Putin and stuff. So as much as there's articles out there that people would look at and say, oh, I guess it must be true, so Putin's just as bad as Trump or whatever, but you got to recognize what the source is. So I'm kind of talking about this, but be best if I could call up the articles that I'm talking about. So pardon me. So this was what I was talking about. Jeffrey Epstein's Russian connection, billionaire's ties with FSB Academy graduate revealed, where it sounds like a very shocking revelation, but the website is called Dossier Center, the Dossier Center. And when you look into who's running that, it's this Russian oligarch that Putin destroyed his influence in Russia. I think they maybe might have been sort of allies with the dissolution of the Soviet Union. This is speculation on my part, but it's likely that they were working together to carve up the interests of the Soviet Union to hand out to their cronies there. But then this is what happens when there's a falling out between the oligarchs, and one of them has more power, then they eat the other's lunch, and the other one gets to go home crying. So I don't know if that's the case. I suspect it's plausible. I'm not really like a lot of people willing to just try to trust Putin that he is he's come some kind of revolutionary hero. I'm a little confused by why the Chinese are so willing to work with him so closely, except for now I understand, like, if I were in their position, I might feel like we would need to do the same kind of thing, because when I look at the Sino-Soviet split, that to me was like one of the most disastrous things that could have happened in the Cold War. And had that not happened, communism might not have been defeated, but it is what it is, and it did happen. And I wonder if they're trying to restore something that they wish had, like, to correct a mistake that's already happened that they wish had never happened. But because I would love for Russia to become communist again, but unfortunately, people like what they did to it after in the 90s and stuff, and the people who are in power now, it's not good, right? Like, I don't appreciate Putin being in power for whatever 30, 50 years he's been in power. So Nobody should. That's not very democratic, right? But capitalist democracy, that's the problem. So I don't really want to read this whole kind of thing because it's from, like, I'll share you the other tab, the Wikipedia story of this Michael Khodorkovsky, sometimes known by his initials MBK, is an exiled Russian businessman, oligarch, and opposition activist now residing in London. In 2003, Khodorkovsky was believed to be the wealthiest man in Russia, with a fortune estimated to be worth 15 billion, and was ranked 16th on Forbes' list of billionaires. He had worked his way up the Komsomol apparatus during the Soviet years and started several businesses during the period of glasnost and perestroika in the late 1980s. In 1989, he became chairman of the board of Bank Menatep, which he founded. After the dissolution of the Soviet Union in the mid-1990s, he accumulated considerable wealth by obtaining control of a number of Siberian oil fields unified under the name Yukos, one of the major companies to emerge from the privatization of state assets during the 1990s, a scheme known as loans for shares. And in 2001, Khodorkovsky founded Open Russia, a reform-minded organization intending to build and strengthen civil society in the country. In October 2003, he was arrested by Russian authorities and charged with fraud. The government of President Vladimir Putin then froze shares of Yukos shortly thereafter on tax charges. Putin's government took further actions against Yukos, leading to a collapse of the company's share price and the evaporation of much of Khodorkovsky's wealth. In May 2005, he was found guilty and sentenced to 9 years in prison. December 2010, while he was still serving his sentence, Khodorkovsky and his business partner, Platon Lebedev, were further charged with and found guilty of embezzlement and money laundering. Khodorkovsky's prison sentence was extended to 2014. After Hans Dietrich Genscher lobbied for his release, Putin pardoned Khodorkovsky, releasing him from jail on the 20th of December 2013. And we know that the Ukraine shit was popping off in 2013, 2014. And this Hans Dietrich Genscher is an important guy. He was a German statesman and member of the Liberal Free Democratic Party who served as Federal Minister of the Interior from 1969 to 1974, and as Federal Minister for Foreign Affairs and Vice Chancellor of Germany from 1974 to 1992. This guy was basically one of the main architects for the reunification of Germany. And so that's the guy who brokered a pardon for this Khodorkovsky guy that Putin apparently was ready to kind of lock away. So when you look into the relationships of these people, becomes really interesting to understand. Like it gives a good amount of clarity and context, just to understand who is associating with who. So I've only kind of touched the tip of the iceberg on this because.
Hello, I've been here.
Sorry.
I've been here. I was just I had to give my mom eye drops for her cataract or whatever. I've been here though, but speaking of pardons, like remember when Trump pardoned the Silk Road creator? You know what I'm talking about?
The Silk Road guy. Yeah, what was his name?
Ross Ulbricht. Ulbricht?
Yep, Ulbricht.
Like Ulbricht or something. And he's vilifying immigrants. Like if he don't build a wall, all the drugs are coming in. And you pardon a drug guy, like the biggest drug guy on the dark web. Yep. So we know you are a liar and a cheat, just like your friend here, Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah. So what does Putin get out of pardoning someone like that? What kind of deal did he make with the architect of reunification of Germany kind of politician, you know? And we see Germany now becoming like Nazi all over again. That was a reunification I feel like should never have happened. But then that Berlin Wall kind of needed to fall, I guess. I don't know. That's a whole period of history I need to learn more about. But,
we need to review that.
Yeah, what I was talking about was,
everything we learned in history, we have to forget it, like remember it, but we need to go back and relearn it because They've lied to us our entire lives, and we need to figure out what is the truth.
Yeah. But
But
what
go
I was
ahead.
saying, like this Khodorkovsky guy is one of these people lying to us. He's been pardoned by Putin, and now he's operating against him in the UK, whatever, producing propaganda and lies about him. So this is an example of that. I'm not sure if this is technically, this is probably not an outlet owned by him or whatever, but I bet you the information is like coming from like this Lottie Tip Lady Bishop. I bet you that's not even a real person. Okay, go ahead and look into the search for Lottie Tip Lady Bishop and tell me if you can find
May I
credible
ask?
information.
Did you say something about DPR? Rondo's asking what is
DPR,
DPR.
uh,
It might have been in the
DPR.
chat. I'm sorry. I was just trying to admin.
No, I don't think I said
No,
that.
you didn't. Okay, never mind.
Now I'm trying to say I'm trying to think of what letters that fits to, because there's the
I'll Google it for you.
DPRK. That what makes me think of, but we weren't talking about Korea right now.
Oh yeah, no, not DPRK. He said DPR. So it must be an acronym.
The Donbass
But
Republic, something like that.
it says Dream Perfect Regime. Is that what? That can't be it. Daily Progress Report. Down Payment Resource. It's a lot of DPR. Oh, Democratic People's Republic. No, that's DPRK. I don't know what
Oh,
you're saying. Rondo, please Google it
maybe
because
you
I
can
don't know what you're
clarify.
talking about. Yeah,
Yeah,
clarify it for me.
but I was just saying, if you look up if Putin has any connection to Jeffrey Epstein, this is the kind of article that you find, and it's like so this article saying from 2020, where Jeffrey Epstein bragged about flying to Moscow to meet with Vladimir Putin and discuss his finances. It has been claimed. Important, whatever part of the sentence, right? That does not mean that that's true at all. American journalist Edward J. Epstein, who met the controversial mogul back in the 80s, made the claims in an investigation for the Mail on Sunday. But look, you see, they don't have a picture of Putin and Epstein together, do they? Like they do with Trump, right? Because if they did, wouldn't they be putting it front, right, and center here? So I feel like it's because they don't actually have the pictures. Maybe I'm wrong. If someone wants to produce that picture, please, because that's kind of an investigation worth doing.
I
In the
feel like
Sunday paper, the journalist.
oh,
Go
sorry.
ahead.
I feel like they're using the Epstein files to troll us so they could do all this nefarious shit in the background.
Yeah, I agree. There's way too much of people are thinking maybe that they've lost control of the narrative, and that's why we're hearing about it so much. But I feel like they've maybe also recaptured some degree of control over the narrative, and that's why we are kind of hearing Jeffrey Epstein ad nauseum.
Rondo said Dread Pirate Roberts. I ain't never heard that in my life. Is he?
I don't even know what that
Are
means.
you playing with us, Rondo? Wait. I'm gonna look it
But
up.
that's where Cobra Commander was saying, maybe I got it right, whatever, the Donetsk People's Republic, because that's he was kind of maybe agreeing with me about something about not being too friendly with Putin. But then again, he's also, I'm not sure what you think about Putin, Cobra. You let me know, whatever. He's saying, to be fair, Steven Seagal hangs out with Putin, so I wouldn't put too much weight on who visits with him. Yeah, but Steven Seagal is not the same kind of caliber of a visit as like a Jeffrey Epstein, right? It's like anybody who knows who Epstein is knows that they should never be caught in the same room with him, kind of thing. So, but he was also saying the same folks running Russia are the same ones who betrayed communism. That said, I do like Putin being in charge, because had he not, NATO would have already carved up Russia like the Balkans. Yeah, this is like one of those lesser of two evils things. Putin appears to be a lesser of two evil. It doesn't make him great.
Doesn't make him great.
So, and then just for clarity, if anyone's confused, there's Donetsk and Luhansk. Those are the parts of Donbass that wish to be separate from Ukraine that Azov mainly attacked. So important context that we're not talking about as much as we used to, because like we were saying earlier, we kind of feel like people already know all of this stuff. And like, but for young people who know nothing about the politics, then if they probably never heard about Donetsk or Luhansk and have no idea what those regions are, and have no idea what the Azov battalion is, and there's so much to have to go over all over again, and then it gets boring for the people who are informed. Wherever we have to continuously go over old information, so there's a time and a place for different groups, whatever, to different levels of advanced learning and all that. So. Okay, that's interesting. That's an interesting coincidence or synchronicity that the DPR was the alias of a guy who ran the Silk Road.
And he said the Dread Pirate Roberts. And I looked that up, and that's a movie called The Bride, Princess Bride. Am I right, Rondo, or am I off here? Because I'm about to go watch that movie. Well, first I'm gonna go to INN.
And yeah, but it sounds like now we might be getting a bit distracted. So
Yeah.
So that was this just showing the Sun article talking about the same thing as, but this was the original thing from the Dossier Center. That's kind of more probably the main source of this slanderous claim, where they're saying new details continue to emerge in the case of Jeffrey Epstein, the U.S. financier. See, this is how you know that this article is bullshit, because they unironically make the claim that he committed suicide after his arrest.
Do you know there is a man in Paris who he was a prolific pedo too, and he died the same way Epstein did, by
Who was that?
this. I gotta try to find his name. He died the same way Epstein did.
There's one of Epstein's associates in France, died in a French jail or whatever.
In a French jail by suicided, but it was the same kind of concept where he they
had
didn't have the
information
tape and all the stuff. It was the
He's trying to
same
wrap people
stuff.
out to save his skin, and he happened to commit suicide. Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
So my point of sharing this is to just demonstrate that while Trump's dealing with this Epstein controversy, while he's meeting with Putin for so-called peace talks, there's this propaganda coming out that's trying to sync them both with the same Epstein propaganda or whatever. So it's interesting how they would be happy to use Epstein as a pedophile narrative to go after Putin, but then by doing that, you would also indirectly validate all the claims about Trump's connections with Putin, with Epstein. But and this seems like juicy propaganda because they're talking about the Russian version of the CIA, wherever the financier had close contacts with Sergei Belyakov, Deputy Minister of Economic Development and head of St. Petersburg Economic Forum Foundation, which runs St. Petersburg's International Economic Forum. And if you look at what SPEEF has become a really important counter block to the the European Union and the American dollars, like the American dollar hegemony, they're using these kinds of economic forums to try and replace the World Economic Forum and the Western dominated whatever capitalist run institutions. So they're trying to maybe throw them under the bus somehow with this kind of propaganda. But the reason why I show you this, I hope I've got the receipt properly or whatever. I'm connecting what's his name? to this Khodorkovsky guy I've been talking about. Just trying to find specifically where, because I saw that he's now running this whatchamacallit, this dossier center. So, but I don't know if I might take too long. I should have had it properly called up so that I could prove what I'm talking about or whatever. But I'll have to find that receipt for you guys and put it in the Discord or something. Because I don't want to just kind of, it's not good live streaming content to do my research on air. You know what I mean? So
It's not bad. I mean, because the beauty of us being so small is that we can, like, bigger streams. The comments go so fast, you can't see what's going on.
Yeah.
But we're getting information real time, and so it's not bad to do some research on air because we're learning together. So I don't mind it. I think it's cool. I think it's real cool, actually.
Okay. Maybe just a little bit of background. I don't know how much I meant to go down this rabbit hole, you know, as because this isn't exactly talking about the Putin peace talks. This is more talking about the Epstein stuff.
Yeah, Grape and Time. I've played on this show. I've played the Isaac Cappy video. He was naming names and everything, and then all of a sudden, he got in a wreck and got killed. He named all kind of names. I could pull it up if we want to go there, but we could do something else.
I just need to kind of search something. If you want to just kind of keep.
While you're searching something, I just want to let the people know that the governor of Illinois, he signed the Sonia Massey bill. So if y'all don't remember who Sonia Massey is, she called the police to help her, and they killed that woman. It was so sad. I don't want to show it because it's just too much. You know, like I don't want to desensitize people to the killing of people. But he did sign a Sonia Massey bill. So I think that is amazing. If we can just get that George Floyd bill passed, that'd be great. And the George Floyd bill has a lot of the stuff that Eric T. Red, his name is Eric T. Red, right? Not Eric T. Reed. He is the producer for Savvy Sav Show. His 11 demands. A lot of the stuff in the George Floyd bill is part of his 11 demands. If we could just get that signed. Oh, your Nina, I am Sonia Massey. I am too. She lives in Illinois, so she understands. She says, "Great news. Thank you for sharing." Do you want me to show? I can show it for you, your Nina. I'm gonna show it, but not right now because he's about to go over this. But we'll show it later. Just for you, my black queen.
So I think there it is. I found whatever the receipt I was looking for. Right, because I knew I read it, so I was like, wasn't making it up basically, but I have to prove I'm not making it up, right? Otherwise, people will just claim that I am. So this is the Dossier Center website, spilling Russian secrets. Creator vows more to come. Right, from 2018, so they've been at it for a while. Over the past 3 months, a handful of highly placed Russians have discovered their secrets seeping onto the web. Ooh, dramatic. lascivious. The venue for these recent stories has been Khodorkovsky's new project dubbed the Dossier Center and launched in November. Center bills itself as an investigative unit, and its website features a sprawling, interactive diagram of interconnected Russian officials described as the main beneficiaries of Russian corruption. But then if people want to keep doing this little rabbit hole, then there's where I got some archived material. Sorry, just taking a moment to call up my sources here. 20 years of Putin, Mikhail Khodorkovsky on becoming a symbol of the fight. So I don't know how much I want to kind of read into this. If you guys want to hear it, that's fine. But this is kind of not what we're trying to talk about today, but this is what I stumbled onto today. So I thought maybe it's worth sharing. So, but Khodorkovsky, like Boris Yeltsin, they're all the people who tore Russia to shreds after the collapse of the Soviet Union. And it's important to read up the backgrounds of these people because they were like part of the young Russian Communist League, or whatever, like pretending to be Leninists at the end of the Soviet Union. And that's how they had access to all the state resources that they could then sell off and make themselves extremely rich. So Putin is one of these people. And he's not that different from this Khodorkovsky guy. I just feel like he's the one who ended up in power instead of someone, you know what I mean? But this is where I'm talking about stuff I need to do more research on. So I'm going to stop sharing that. Did my browser lose audio? I've got this problem. My browser keeps losing connection to my screen share audio or my audio.
You were fine. You were fine. We heard you. The thing is with him, just as with like Gaddafi and stuff, like once you really hear what they're saying when they go to the UN and stuff, I'd be like, fuck yeah, I believe in everything they saying. So I feel like there is some propaganda going on with the fact that we aren't supposed to like them on purpose. Yeah. So I don't necessarily know if I agree with what you're saying, but I hear you.
Yeah, well, this Khodorkovsky guy's claiming that there's
right now.
They got like prostitutes and what do you call them? Like honeypot traps that go to like these St. Petersburg economic forums, and that's how like Epstein does his work and stuff. And I'm sure there's I'm not sure. It's pretty plausible that sort of stuff is happening. I'm just saying, unless we find a source like a Whitney Webb who can tell us that side of the story properly, I'm not hearing that story from a Khodorkovsky kind of outlet, because there's no way that's credible. So, but that doesn't mean that theoretically it's not possible that there is a Russian connection to the Epstein list. And because people were calling Trump like Putin's asset, remember back in the day with the Russiagate stuff? And now they're still managing to have a fairly effective working relationship, it might seem. Although I feel like Trump's got no bargaining power whatsoever. The other thing to point out...
Is it a working relationship, or is it Trump just scared?
Trump has no cards to play, from what I can tell. He's just bluffing like crazy, right?
No
from what I can tell. Because if you look at what's happening on the front lines in Ukraine right now, a really important development is the city of Pokrovsk has been tactically encircled or whatever. They're about to lose a major part of the front, and they've already lost several other like major parts of the front. The Chasiv Yar was a city that they were fighting to take over for forever. They almost had it for the longest time, and the Ukrainians held on to it forever. And I kept not understanding how they not captured Chasiv Yar yet, but they have now.
I mean, right now, Putin is cool.
Or whatever place on the map, like there was a massive amount of territory that was taken and a massive amount of Ukrainians that got encircled there. And it's like that demonstrates that Russia has all the chips on the bargaining table for a peace agreement. Excuse me, a peace agreement. And what Trump has that is really revealing, Trump is forced to offer special access to rare earth minerals from Ukraine that America was trying to extract for itself. But in order to get a peace deal with Putin, he has to give away some of the stolen goods that they were going to get from Ukraine. So that, if that's not an indication that the war is lost, I don't know what else is, you know?
I feel like Putin is cool with me because he was releasing all the pictures of the historical pictures of all like Black Jesus and Black John and all this stuff. Like he cool with me for now. You'll see.
I'm having a
But
hard time hearing you there. I don't know. You sound a
you
little
heard
bit
me?
under.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. It's
that's better. There you go.
Black Life wants me to buy a new mic. So so maybe I'm gonna invest in that.
That might
But I
help.
need to pull it real close to me. If I pull it real close to me, you can hear me.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna share this for Yanina. Now this just happened. What's today? The 14th. So Tuesday, August 12th, Governor Pritzker signs police reform bill named Sonia Massey. And for those of you who don't know who she is, okay, she called the police herself because she thought somebody was outside her house, and she feared for her safety. Pull it up here. Here it goes. When Sonia Mass feared for her safety, she did what anyone would do. She called law enforcement for help. Communities should be able to trust that when they call the police to their home, the responding officer will be well trained and without a history of bias or misconduct. That's what the governor said. Today I signed the Sonia Massey bill to help prevent these tragedies, to better equip law enforcement to keep our communities safe, and to continue working to build a justice system that protects all of our citizens. So I'm not going to play the video, but that man came to her house. Let me take this off because now it's just showing advertisements. Came to her house after she called them, and he killed her. It was horrific. It was disgusting. And for those of you who don't know, in Oakland, California, a black man got lynched a few days ago.
Oh, damn.
There's been a couple of lynchings in America, and
Well, that's
if people aren't really talking about it, you don't really see it. Like they're suppressing the information a lot. But if you know, you know.
right. Well, I think that kind of helps. Maybe I can briefly segue a little bit into that last topic, which was the Trump age of coercion there, which was a play on words with age of consent there. But I wanted to sort of talk, because we're talking about Sonia Massey. I found a bit of a related topic because of the word consent. So consent decrees.
May I say this? May I say
Yeah,
this before you go into that?
Yeah.
Because Bad Cookies brings up a good point. And I've seen you, Bad Cookies, in the comments. You were talking about. Oh, wait, what happened? Wait a minute.
Sorry, I was just sharing my screen, getting it all queued up, and it probably
and it pulled up mine. Yeah. Okay. So this is a good point. Ha ha ha. He honors the unethical unaliving of an innocent woman by funding the psycho murderers more. So this is a really good point because every time like people like are up in arms about something, like they were like, oh, defund the police. What did Obama do? Gave them more money. And they're building cop cities. And they're like, they play in our face. So
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up, Bad Cookies, because that is an excellent point that needed to be said. And I appreciate you for that. So
Now
it's
you
like
guys
we
are
feel like we got to win, but in the end, is it really a win?
Yeah.
Um,
The ruling class are masters at selling us a loss as a win for us, and we seem to eat it up too often. So, but you guys are confusing me. Sounds like it's everybody's birthday today. Is it Cookie's birthday? Is it Gamer's birthday? Is it Cowboy Kitty's birthday? Happy birthday to whoever it is whose birthday it
Happy
is.
birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya.
And
Happy
Cowboy Kitty
birthday.
to you. Uh, she's asking
Do you
us
even
to
know?
please
Do you know
share.
who that is, Michael? Now here's your this your
Is
Black
that
History moment
Marilyn?
now.
It sounded like you were singing the Marilyn Manson "Happy Birthday," or not Marilyn Manson, Marilyn
Hell
Monroe.
no.
Happy birthday,
Hell
Mr.
no.
President. I was only half
No.
listening to it.
That was Stevie
Sorry.
Wonder.
Okay, yeah, no, I don't know Stevie Wonder's music too much. I should check it out.
Okay.
But I'll get around to. Thank you for reminding me, Cowboy Kitty. I'll share the GoFundMe for your. Is it your stepsister? Is that her name, Natalia? I just wanted to briefly, because I queued this up.
If you put it in the comments, I could put it up real quick. Cowboy Kitty.
Yeah. Okay. I'll pop that in the comment then just now.
I'll
But
do
I
it
just
for you
wanted to
because
mention.
you want to read something. I'll do it.
Okay. I just got I already have the link right here, so I'll do that real fast here. Post it in the comment. There we go. But I found this looking into the age of consent claims about Trump saying stuff about 14-year-olds and stuff, and then this is like one of the things he's also doing that we should talk about because he's trying to undo the consent decrees that are about forcing communities to obey the desegregation order. They're changing the legal precedents to allow them to no longer have to enforce desegregation. So it sounds like they're trying to create the legal precedents to allow people to segregate if they so choose all over again, which is like very big red flag, I thought. So this article's from
And
The
we don't
Guardian.
give it. Black people don't give a damn. Black people don't give a damn. In
But
fact,
maybe they might
most
not give a damn, but we at least need to hear this news that's coming out instead of it being buried, maybe. And then if you don't care after hearing the news, that's your prerogative, you know. But if you don't know, if you don't care, if you don't even know the information, so you have the right to decide if you care or not.
Yes, I apologize for jumping in. I was
No, no
just
worries.
having my little black moment.
No, that's very valuable. Appreciate your opinion or whatever. It helps me understand, because otherwise I try and learn about this stuff and I don't really understand it from the Black perspective, so I draw a completely wrong conclusion. So it's kind of important for me to hear your take on this. So I just want to kind of get the gist of what's happening out, or we don't need to read the whole thing, but this is from July 24th, 2025. Consent decrees force schools to desegregate. The Trump administration is striking them down. Plaquemines Parish, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, Louisiana, will not be Plaquemines.
It's Plaquemine. Yes.
Plaquemines Parish, thank you, will not be forced to follow the law for the first time since the 1960s. In late April, the Department of Justice announced that it was ending a decades-long consent decree in Plaquemine Parish, in a school district that has been under a desegregation order since the Johnson administration in the 1960s. The Plaquemine Parish desegregation order, one of more than 130 such orders nationwide, was in place to ensure that the school district, which initially refused to integrate, followed the law. Many consent decrees of the era are still in existence because school districts are not in compliance with the law. Some experts, including former Justice Department employees, say the change in direction for the department could be worrying. Could be. So this is where you're saying it maybe black people should be worried, but we're not, because desegregation hasn't exactly accomplished much of anything, considering how racist people still are. It's like it seems like people believe it's a victory that's been undone anyway. So I don't know what you think about that.
I could tell you, but I'm gonna let you finish first, and then I'll tell you. And
Sure.
people could tell me if they agree or not. But
Okay. Sounds
I
good.
know what I think.
So these orders provide students with really important protections against discrimination, said Shahina Simons, who is the chief of the Educational Opportunities section of the Civil Rights Division at the Justice Department for nearly a decade. They require school districts to continue to actively work to eliminate all the remaining vestiges of the state mandated segregation system. That means that students have protections in terms of what schools they're assigned to, in terms of the facilities and equipment in the schools that they attend. They have protection from discrimination in terms of barriers to accessing advanced programs, gifted programs. But that on paper they have protection from discrimination, but is it actually real? So, and it means
It's
that
not.
of course,
It's not.
exactly. So that's the important
I'm sorry. I
caveat right
keep
there.
jumping in. I'm so sorry. I'm
No,
just so excited
okay,
about
that's
it.
good. And it means that a court is there to protect them and to enforce their rights, allegedly, when they're violated, and to ensure that school districts are continuing to actively desegregate. Seems like my screen's a bit frozen here. I can't scroll down anymore. So I guess I'll just read the next paragraph. And if my screen comes back, well, maybe I can keep going. But the Justice Department ended the... Oh, there we go. Where'd it go? The Justice Department ended the Plaquemine Parish desegregation order in an unusual process, one that some fear will be replicated elsewhere. The case was dismissed through a joint stipulated dismissal, whatever the fuck that means. Previously, courts have followed a specific process for ending similar cases, one in which school districts prove that they are complying with the court orders. That did not happen this time. Instead, the Louisiana State Attorney General's office worked with the Justice Department in reaching the dismissal. I'm not aware of any case that has ended that way before, said Duell Ross, the Deputy Director of Litigation of the Legal Defense Fund. The LDF was not specifically involved with the Plaquemine Parish case. The government, as a plaintiff who represents the American people, the people of that parish, has an obligation to make sure that the district has done everything that it's supposed to have done to comply with the federal court order in the case before it gets released, and the court itself has its own independent obligation to confirm that there's no vestiges of discrimination left in the school district that are traceable to either present or past discrimination. Despite the district not proving that it is compliant with the order, the Justice Department has celebrated the end of the consent decree. So I don't know if we need to read the whole article. I think that kind of gets the point across. I don't know if you agree.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, do you want to hear what I
Yeah, go ahead, because we're getting to be almost 3 hours in, so I don't want to be reading all night for
have to
everyone.
say?
If,
So,
yeah.
Your Nina, do you have a GoFundMe? So
Yeah, I heard
while
you,
I
Nina.
tell you what I think, while I tell you
Remember
what I think, I'm gonna
last
put up
episode she said something, and I missed it, whatever. But she's been going through something too. I forgot. Sorry.
eviction. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here is while I tell you what I think, I'm putting up the GoFundMe for Cowboy Kitty. I need to move this, take this off so you can see. So if you like Google Cowboy Kitty, GoFundMe, I think it'll pull up, I guess. So I'll tell you what I think about that. I think that I've said this plenty of times, that this administration is doing everything they can to make Black people get in the streets so they can call martial law, and we haven't. So now they done made up some shit about crime in DC. Like they thought we were gonna fall for it, and we're not. And I'm telling y'all, black people, you better stay home. I saw black people in the streets in DC talking about hands off DC. If you don't take your ass home and go sit down somewhere, that's what he wants. I'm not going nowhere but to the grocery store to pick up my mom's prescriptions, and I'm staying my ass in my house. And if you come to my house, then we gonna have a problem.
Right.
They
That's
want
an
us
important
out there.
point. Yeah. And I can agree with that. It seems very much like that you're correct about that's what they're up to, you know, like I can totally believe that seems to be what's happening for me too. I just want to, like, if you're gonna plan on staying home, I just want there to be a a, a well thought of alternative plan besides going out on streets. What instead kind of revolutionary activity can be done as opposed to just sitting on our hands? You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. So I don't sit on my hands like okay, sorry.
That's a rude way to put
We
it. Sorry, not that that's what you're
no
doing,
no,
but
you're not being rude. You're not being rude. You're just talking to me. So um I'm saying that like high level, but we are doing Black Life. We doing stuff for the community. So we go outside to do that for our children in the community. Other than that, I ain't going nowhere.
yeah,
Ah, bad cookies is so. You know what? We got our own troll.
that's
Stop
good.
being rude, Michael.
I don't know what can I say. You know, I have this
My
whiteness.
God, what is wrong with you?
I got this whiteness in
Gosh,
me. It just
he's so
makes me
white.
rude.
But anyway, I said that because I just felt that in my heart. From what you were saying, they're trying to show us they're building these white only communities, and they're trying to like um they brought back uh, white only bathrooms and all in the federal government, and we don't give a damn. We really don't care. If you don't want me around you, okay. I don't want to be around nobody that don't want me around. That's fine with me. Y'all can desegregate as much as you want. Can we have our own shit? But like Teal said, remember Teal from Political Matrix? When we do build our own shit and it actually looks like something that is viable and is thriving, then they get mad at that shit too
Yeah,
and try to destroy it. Now it's been so long. Um, they have new tactics now because you just can't come in our communities and just like turn shit up. That's not that's not something you could do in the 21st century because the technology is there, social media is there. So they're trying to do it underhandedly. So we'll see what that looks like in the next 10 years. I assume. But anyway, I just want to make sure everybody, give Cowboy Kitty some love because he's hurting right now. And I can only imagine what that feels like.
yeah. And I'm sure there's a lot of worrying about it's unresolved situation. You don't exactly know how it's going to end, so you gotta try and have that hope that it can amount to something like a positive outcome. You'll get to see her again, but there's got to be a hard thing to ignore that worry that you might never see her again. That, like, who knows what else could happen on top of this, right? So try not to to panic, and let us know what we can do.
Yeah, I just know how hard I worried when my mom walked out the door on Sunday. So I can't even imagine you wondering. I mean, she just walked down the street. Well, she didn't just walk, she walked. She was gone. But for 4 hours, me and Black Life we were driving around town looking for her, trying to figure out where she was. And to imagine somebody just got taken from you and you can't drive around town to try to go look for him because they just got him. And where is she? I don't
Yeah,
even know if he knows. Does he know?
sounds like he might know, but the problem is, like, with this situation, even if you know exactly where they are, there's no way of going in and getting them because they're like being held by all these thugs.
Grapentine, that's a good question. He said, how do we get the word out about Cowboy Kitty's family members here? Well, share it on your social media.
Yeah, it feels a little bit like a weak kind of thing to do, but there have been a
I
lot of
mean, you
success
can't do
stories.
nothing.
Social media sharing this kind of thing, it does work if we can overcome that censorship, and that's that word of mouth is that important other missing ingredient. As much as we want to share things online, sharing things word of mouth is what will bolster the online sharing. So
And I put up the link before, but if you Google this, let me take your comment down. If you Google this, you can find it yourself. Um, but
yeah, I
I'll
think
put it up again. And then there are people who have way bigger platforms than us that you could DM them and put it there. And sometimes they'll pick up the information and they will put it on their platform, and they have a lot of viewers, and those viewers be active.
yeah. We might not watch Jimmy Dore as much, but if Jimmy someone wants to share this video with Jimmy and he hears what we're saying, Jimmy Dore, please use your platform to share Cowboy Kitty's fundraiser because you are that bigger platform that we're talking about. And instead of hawking colonial gold at people, this is something much more effective that you could do with your time and resources.
I was actually talking about more social media people who,
I just want to do
because
a little dig at
Jimmy
Jimmy, I
ain't gonna
guess.
do shit. I know you just talking shit about Jimmy Dore. Like there.
But if he has a conscience in him, whatever, if he wants to take it seriously, whatever, then power to him. You know what I mean?
Can you put up the link again? Because I just can't find it. We've been talking so much. I
Yeah.
just can't find it.
I don't know if there's
Hi, Lazay. Wait,
Louvze de Rosica.
Lazay the receipt God. Okay.
I was
You are
wondering if that was.
new in the chat, so thank you for being here.
That's what I was saying. I
Hello.
get a little confused sometimes because Kitty likes to do a little bit of cosplaying with her YouTube account.
Oh,
So I wonder.
okay.
Like we got Elmo here. I think that might be Kitty there.
Yeah, we haven't. It might be Elmo because Elmo's something serious.
But there's also Sensei. So if you're also a new viewer, thank you guys for hopping in and letting us know you're there. Maybe a good
Mm-hmm.
chance for me to share the Discord in case anybody wants to join since we're on it.
Oh, it's Zay. Hey, Zay. Now let me tell you something. Zay, that's my dude right there. Zay is something serious and very sweet. So sweet and with a beautiful voice. Thank you for
Well,
coming, Zay.
well, come on back,
Right,
please. It'll
look,
be nice to meet you. Or good to meet you. Whatever.
right now. Look, Zay, you can come on in. You can come on in here if you want to. That's how much I love me some Zay. Um, Zay is a good moderator.
Okay.
Zay is a good moderator. So can I take? I'm gonna take this down for a second. You got the Discord up.
Yeah. That's just a temporary link, so it'll be expired by tomorrow, I think. But if anyone in the chat wants to join our Discord, feel free. Always looking to expand our community. The more, the merrier. So
We need to make a link where people know what's going on. Ah! Look, Zay is already a hit. Look at this. Already a hit.
Wow, but her name is 444, so not quite 420 there though.
It's not a her. It's not a her. It's a they.
I see.
Well, I don't know if you. I don't know what your pronouns are. He or they. I don't know. I don't think you give a fuck, to be honest. But you might. Let me know.
Oh, nice. We got another new person, kind Sean. Very kind of you. Good to meet you. Thanks.
Hi, Con Sean. Where you came from? This might be a good time to say like, share, and subscribe.
Well, it seems like we got new people popping in just to keep us going, right? That's what always happens with the streamers, I notice, is once you're ready to wrap up, people start like, no, don't go. I'm going to start talking now.
Yeah, it's time to start talking shit now. So, what is the next topic then? Because I felt like we were wrapping up, but now I feel like we need to do something. Shit.
Wrap it on something. So yeah, I think that was kind of like the last topic I had.
Kind Sean, who are you? Who are you? Where you even came from? And welcome to the party. So you wrapping it up. So let me see if I could, because actually we do need to wrap it up because I think INN is about to be doing some stuff, and Jesse Jets is going to release a new track or something.
Oh, okay, cool.
So I know everybody wants to jump on over there.
Yeah. Well, it's
so
about
I
time
think
for me
we
to
should
go
wrap it up.
walk, so. Sorry. So it's about time for me to take Bella for a walk. If I got a little thing it's like an article that I could have, maybe would have read, but just to remind people about the first topic we were talking about the Trump-Putin peace talks, the second topic. A good example as to try and predict what could happen would be Trump's Peace for Business campaign hits roadblocks in Congo. So we have already a peace deal that was signed between Rwanda and Congo, which is not actually the fighting parties involved. You need a peace deal with the M23. So there's a bit of a reiteration of a false peace deal being signed. So if you want to have some historical context as to why these peace talks are not going to amount to anything, refer to the peace talks between Rwanda and Congo, how that was trumpeted as a big success of Nobel Peace Prize winner Donald Trump, or whatever, creating peace for the region, but he did not. The fighting's still going. If you go looking into it, there's no peace has been actually achieved. So if that happens all over again, you could say I was right, whatever, So.
Okay, so a few things. Oh, okay, Bella. God damn. So Yanina, she created a GoFundMe, but girl, I don't see it. So come on with it. And yes, kind Sean, we have talked about this on this show about the CEOs that are being unalive. And like the last one, they tried to cover that shit up like it wasn't real. Yeah. They tried to make it seem like the dude had CTE, and independent media, we be trying to figure some shit out because we know that they are lying to us. So we got to figure out how. And we figured that shit out. We knew exactly who he was coming for. The CEO of BlackRock. Wait, I get them confused. Blackstone. One is a realtor agency. The other one is an asset management agency, and they doing some nefarious shit around here too, which we need to cover maybe next time.
I forget which one is which on for the
I
moment.
forget which one. Oh, Blackstone. Thank you, Yanina. And where is your link, Yanina?
Just saying, where do you want me to send it? If you could drop it in the chat, that sounds good right now.
Yeah, drop it in the chat, and I'll Google it and I'll put it up like I did for Cowboy Kitty. Y'all show Cowboy Kitty some love, please.
Yeah, but as far as you were just talking about the CEOs getting on a live, where I feel like with the topic we did talk about today with the Trump DC takeover, the reason why they felt motivated to do that was because there was a bit of a potential assassination of some Republican Party or like a politician was targeted, but they ended up getting one of their young aides instead. So that to me, those are linked. Where if you're going to target the CEOs, that's one thing, but we should basically be going for the politicians too, wouldn't you think? If you want to actually accomplish success, but maybe those are not related. Who knows?
Well, we kind of talked about that when I showed that video, and I said in the comments they're like, oh, it's 347 million people in America. There is nothing but like how many politicians? Like less than 300. How the fuck? Something ain't right.
Yeah, it seems like a really simple math solution or whatever.
No, we know we know how to divide, but the problem is the country's so divided. Who's gonna ride for who? That's the problem. That's the issue.
When people say wherever there's 300 million of us, or whatever, the problem with that is that we're not exactly us, whatever. We're not unified. That 300
Right.
million. You know?
When they say we the people, we ain't the people. Hello, Sensei. That's a new one too.
But we
it's
could
good
be.
to see you. And you're a cat person. Oh, I love cats. I love them because they don't give a god. They don't give a goddamn. Cats are libertarians, completely like convinced of their own independence while being completely dependent upon you.
Yep.
No, it's more than that, Rondo. 347 million. I could be wrong. Look it up. I'm pretty sure by now it's 347 million. But 300 million is good enough too.
Yeah.
That's good enough. I mean, even if you divide it by that math, it don't matter.
Yeah. Populations are hard to count because by the time you finish counting, the population's grown. So you have to count all over again.
Look at them. We got jokes in the chat. That's where I got it from, Sean. 3 + 4 = 7. Fuck it, 347.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Sure, why not? Who
Everyone else makes up their facts. Why can't we? Right?
Why can't we? So yeah, we getting out of here. So you guys are. I'm assuming I'm gonna see you guys on INN, so we could talk shit in their chat, like y'all been talking shit in ours, and thank you for that. We love it. It's hilarious, and it's always good being with our internet family and our new family, Kind, Sean, Zay, Sensei, and all our old family. Wait, hold on. No, before we go, hold on, Yanina. Did you put the link in here? Wait a minute, Yanina. We got to make sure you.
Yeah, I thought we were still waiting on that.
Yeah, before we go, we got to make sure that happens.
But we'll also try and get it on the next stream too. So maybe get it in at the beginning so that if people don't watch all the way to the end.
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it. Come on, Yanina. We got to get up out of here, girl.
Oh, it's all
Bad
good.
pieces. I mean, we talked about, what was he saying? Reuters' recent poll shows that Sydney Sweeney has nice tits with ass splattered. Oh my gosh.
So that joke would land better with me if I knew who Sydney Sweeney is there.
You don't know who that is?
I'll bet you if I look it up, I'll find out.
You are the eugenics dude. So while we waiting for Yanina, she says she's sending it through Discord. So can you look for that? While you doing that, I'm gonna pull up that video because that is fucking hilarious. Because anybody who knows Michael knows he is the eugenics master. That's all he be talking about is eugenics.
Yeah, that's my wheelhouse. That's my
So
wheelhouse.
let's play this video. And before I play this video, I think it's important to note that Blue Jeans was a slave. You're the eugenics dude. Blue Jeans was a slave outfit to separate them from the colonizers who wore like red, yellows, pinks, purples. So Blue Jeans was a very much relegated to slaves. And they didn't goddamn took that over too. Like, we can't have nothing. I shouldn't say we can't have nothing because everybody wears blue jeans these days. But the way they did this makes me feel like we can't have shit.
All right, cool. So I was looking in the Discord. I'm not finding that link there, but we can get it in for next show next week. She was saying to us we can post it next time. So.
Oh, okay. And Yanina, like, I don't have your phone number, so I'll just hit you up in the Discord.
Oh, okay. So
but
I should.
I'm not gonna say shit to you. I just want you to see it, and you tell me what you think.
Well, it seems from what Cobra's saying that it's this stuff that I should know about because I do like
eugenics dude.
But there's lots of stuff that I disagree with him on, and it's like he's not right to hold some of his opinions. He does need to change some of his positions on certain things, but don't we all? You know. So, oh yes, he was. I see. This is that hot chick. He was sharing the videos with the Dairy Queen commercial, and I was like, who the fuck is this person?
No. Okay,
let
me just play it.
I'm not here to tell you to buy American Eagle jeans. And I definitely won't say that they're the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn. Or that they make your butt look amazing.
What butt, girl?
Yeah, that was.
But if you said that you want to buy the jeans, I'm not going to stop you. But just so we're clear, this is not me telling you to buy American Eagle jeans.
Sydney Sweeney has very jeans.
I see what I did there.
Wait. That's not even it.
Those are not
even. Tell you to buy American Eagle jeans.
That's not even the one.
And I definitely won't say that they're the most comfortable.
Take this down. That's not even the one. It's
she's fucking gaslighting people. They're talking about how it makes her ass look good when her ass does not look good in those jeans. That's
but that's not even the one, Michael. That's not even the one.
That's all good.
That's like the second one. Let me see.
Cookie's got it perfect or whatever. Ass flatter than pancakes. You know what I'm saying? But
I ain't got no ass either, so I ain't gonna talk about it too bad. My ass ain't. I wish I had ass, but I don't. I mean, to be a black woman with no ass. I'm just saying, to be a black woman with no ass, it is diabolical. This is the one. Right. So let me see. Let me share this one.
Oh, is got to share it there. Or added.
Where you can pack in a day,
Hi, Mom.
in a week,
Start the snow.
in a month.
I
You can
apologize for
store
the
it or
ad,
ship
y'all.
it.
I think that's the kitchen.
How
You guys excited about the new house?
and when you want it.
So you can skip it there.
A well-known clothing retailer is getting caught up in cultural politics. Some people complain the new ad by American Eagle featuring actress Sydney Sweeney sent an offensive message. CBS's Jolene Kent looks at the controversy sparked by just 5 words.
Sydney Sweeney has very keen.
You see what I did there, right?
That play on words.
I feel like they trying to let me see.
Jeans and jeans kickstarted a cultural firestorm with American Eagle and Sydney Sweeney at the center.
Genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality.
Hold on, let me start that over so you can hear it for yourself, Michael.
What she talking
Often
about? How
determined.
does this have anything to do with jeans?
An Eagle. Cultural
make it-
firestorm. American Eagle and Sydney
is this
Sweeney
shit.
at the center.
Genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue.
Critics have accused the ad of playing up eugenics, that Sweeney's white skin color, blonde hair, and blue eyes were greater than other genes.
I went and saw it.
That's Nazi propaganda. Wow. Those Sydney Sweeney American Eagle ads are weird, like fascist weird.
Others have called the negative reaction overblown, and support for the ad now extends to the White House.
Yeah, my political advice to the Democrats is continue to tell everybody who thinks Sydney Sweeney is attractive is a Nazi. that appears to be their actual strategy.
That includes President Trump calling it the hottest ad out there and praising Sweeney's reported political leanings.
If Sydney Sweeney is a registered Republican, I think her ad is fantastic.
American Eagle responded to the backlash Friday, writing Sydney Sweeney has great genes is and always was about the genes, her story. We'll continue to celebrate how everyone wears their AE genes with confidence their way.
That's a lie because you just said genes are passed down to offsprings. So is it about genes? Genes or is it about JEANS? I know you fucking lying.
Yeah, there's no way. That's too much on the nose for them, whatever. And that's definitely, this is a tactic that the far right uses for sure over and over again. They love doing this where they say something outrageous and then they say it in such a way as to make it out to be like a joke. And then they get to turn it on us for getting outraged about it because they're saying, what are you getting so pissed off about? Whatever. It was not serious. And you reading into it as if it were serious is a you problem. And that's where I'm saying, fuck them, because they shoot the messenger. Yeah. For us to correct the narrative, it makes us look to be the bad guy because we're telling people about how horrific this is. And they're like, no, it's innocent. It's not horrific at all. But they know full well what they're doing, right? It's definitely gaslighting and it's definitely eugenics. The fuck they talking about, whatever, your genes get passed down in generations.
If she wasn't a Republican, if she was a Democrat, would he not like the ad? Is what Bad Cookies is saying. I didn't, and I apologize for cutting you off because I know I just did. I apologize.
Yeah, no. But then the way that then like Trump and JD Vance are then talking about it, that reinforces that all of this is very much a psyop kind of ad campaign. It's not just an innocent corporation deciding to do with their autonomy or whatever, their corporate sovereignty to do what they feel is going to make them money. No, this is them doing more than profit seeking. This is them trying to manipulate public whatever perception through eugenic whatever ideas.
Mm-hmm. You know, I got a whole list of stuff on eugenics. I've been waiting for us to have that show, and I was like, I know Michael gonna set it the fuck off.
Well, it's a shameful thing being a blonde, blue-eyed person that other people like to take this trait and try and make it out to be some kind of supremacist thing. You know, it's
You know what's super interesting about that? Less than 5% of white women in America have blonde hair. Hold on. Sorry, I'm gonna play that going out. Less than 5%. Like
probably
they are all going to the salons or getting Clariol or whatever their name is, dyeing their hair blonde because even they are a victim of what they told us beauty standards were. Even they are.
Yeah.
And it's really sad. But anyway, I digress. We've been on here 3 hours and 20 minutes. Blonde hair is a recessive gene. And there's like a tribe in, is it I forget where it is, where they have blonde hair, like African people with blonde hair. And then they have them with blonde hair, blue eyes. So it is a gene that was passed down, but somehow the melanin didn't get through. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's funny for people to be playing up the blonde hair and the blue eyes when it's like a recessive gene, because it's like hard for it to become widespread in the pop. Like the fact that it is a recessive gene means that it gets buried like every other generation. So it's kind of meant to be sort of exclusive, it seems like.
Really?
But that doesn't mean that it's making it more special. You know?
No, it doesn't mean it's more special. Like, they are all right. But I mean, okay. So are green eyes, so are brown eyes.
Yeah.
I mean, eyes are eyes, aren't they?
We were talking about have you anyone ever never heard of the show Pro Pilled? You go check out those guys on YouTube. They were talking about this the other day in their chat too. And I was talking about how other people's eyes are just as beautiful, but for whatever different reasons, you know? Like the spacing of your eyes is just as important as the color of your eyes. You can have very ugly looking eyes if they're fucking too close together, you know what I mean?
Or too far apart. Like, like there's so many things that you can say.
If your eyebrows are too thick, you know? or one single eyebrow.
Exactly. Okay, so we should get out of here. So and I'll see you guys on INN. I'm gonna be there. I want to hear because Jesse Jett's music is the shit. So I'm gonna be there. I don't know if you're gonna be there, but I hope you guys enjoyed yourself. And don't forget, before you leave, before you go, before you take your ass over there, hit that like, share, and subscribe. We appreciate it because I think that's the only way we'll, start to get bigger. Not that we want to be huge, but it'd be nice to get our message across, to farther.
Yeah, and
So
I mean,
anyway,
the whole point of doing this is for to be heard in a sense, right? So it's might as well make an actual effort to do it.
No, we don't make an effort enough.
Yeah,
we say those things, and I watch other people podcasts, and I'm like, damn, they really be promoting themselves, and we really do not.
that's INN does a good job of promoting themselves, right? So, but I just we got to get over our novice jitters, whatever. You know,
It's been almost 2 years. We should be over that shit by now, Michael. Why are we still doing this?
I don't know.
We need to just start. We need to get on the bandwagon.
We're just too humble. So what are you gonna do?
What did K. Dot say? Be humble. Sit down. No, I need to stand the fuck up. That's what I need to do. I don't need to be humble in this moment. I need to stand up.
Yeah, let's say be humble, but not too humble. That sounds like that sums it up.
Yes. So on our way out, I just want to remind people. Uh, it's not a. It's usually we like to go out on something that's more upbeat or whatever. But I just wanted to remind people of these children that have gone missing, and to keep it on people's minds because it's only in the local news and nobody's talking about it nowhere. So we're going to talk about it here.
Thanks for watching,
Okay.
everyone.
Thanks for watching, everyone. We
See
really
you next
appreciate you and we love you.
Have a good weekend. Peace, peace, peace.
Why isn't anybody talking about the fact that there has been a mass kidnapping in Virginia? From August 1st till today, August 12th, 50 children have gone missing in Virginia. There are no news stories speaking about this. There are no higher officials speaking about this. This is 50 children. Look at this shit. We're not going to sit here and act like this is not happening. Look at all these children. Why hasn't there been any news coverage? Look at all of these kids, man. Come on, y'all. For real. Look at this shit, man. This is sad right here. All of these children are missing. No news coverage. Nobody saying anything. I'm going to sit this right here, man. You're going to sit right here. This don't make no sense, man. A mass kidnapping. Who's taking all these children? This can be any one of our children here. Any one of us. As parents, somebody got to step up, man. We got to make this viral, man. Apparently, something is going on in Virginia that we higher officials need to hear about this. For real. Why isn't anybody talking about the fact that there has been a mass kidnapping in Virginia? From August 1st till today, August 12th, 50 children have gone missing